locations in several communities throughout the southern part of the province. B&A Petroleum is available for all your bulk fuel and lubricant needs, with propane at selected locations Monday to Friday. And don't forget, their Cardlock location is accessible 24 hours for your convenience. B&A Petroleum. Fuel you once, fuel you forever.
Do you have a safety program or OHS committee? Call Campbell Safety. Harassment in the workplace? Call Campbell Safety. Don't know if you have a proper safety program? Call Campbell Safety. Once you have an injury, it's too late to have a safety program. Be proactive with Campbell Safety Consulting. They'll come out and customize your safety program and be that extra set of eyes you need. 35 years experience doing health and safety, and they have seen it all, and then some. Call them today and get a free consultation. Campbell Safety Consulting.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Kellen Solar, installing solar in residential and commercial buildings for 35 years. Local and trusted. Kellen Solar. Visit kellensolar.com. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, if that's really a thing. It's the Sports Cage on this Monday for Kellen Solar. I know those guys are big St. Patrick's guy. Probably, maybe going to have a green pint today. Barney Shinkaruk, 3 hours with you. We got Colson, Curtis, and even Alan, the sheriff, is just patrolling in the background today. Chris Mazurek will be my co-host. They'll be jumping on in moments. We have so much to recap locally from the weekend. AAA Midget, SJHL, playoffs are set. WHL, we know who the top three teams will be, I guess the bottom three teams, that will have a chance to get Maddox Schultz now in the WHL Bantam draft. World Curling continues in Korea. Lots of senior hockey. There's a massive game tonight up the road in Kenniston. We will talk a little CFL commissioner. Got a reliable source that gave me some insight on a Saskatchewan man, still nameless, that didn't even get an interview. Sounds like the CFL looking for a little puppet regime. Linebacker from the University of Saskatchewan Huskies. His hometown is Balgonie, Saskatchewan. Linebacker Lane Novak. We'll hear from him and Dave Thomas in hour one here. Hour two, Eric Francis will be joining us from Manhattan, New York. Flames in a huge game. Every game is huge for the Flames now. We got our clutch performer. We're staying local there. And then hour three, Darian Durant will come by. Curious to get Darian's take on the Combine, what he thinks about Combines. And then Daniel Wiebe, who's participating at the Combine, a receiver from Saskatoon with the U of S Huskies. Dave Thomas will talk to him in hour three. So a lot to get to. You're always welcome to get in on the program. On the Prairie Land Rentals text line, 936-6262. Prairie Land Rentals, since 1986. Big jobs, small jobs. You can stop in and deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street. Almost snowblower time today, again, with that dumping of snow. But let us know. Also, if you got any, maybe you got a clutch performer out there, 936-6262. Send it in to us. Let's go and see what Maz is up to. St. Patrick's Day. I did wear green today. If you're watching the stream, basically, besides my rider stuff, this is the only green I own.
So, if for someone that thinks St. Patrick's Day is a bit of a scam, you sure are pot committed. Hat, shirt. I don't know what kind of pants you're wearing, but
green
you
sweats.
need to be in green sweats.
Husky sweats with the paw print on the bum.
Why are you not a St. Patrick's guy? I thought it was Valentine's Day you just had a problem with. Is it Hallmark holidays?
Yeah, I know. I don't mind Halloween, though. Where does Halloween rank? Where are we putting Halloween?
One of the best days of the year. Because Halloween, you can be anybody and literally, you can pretend to be anybody and you can elevate your status amongst your friends, people you don't know. You could be anything and everything, and nobody judges you. St. Patrick's Day, if you put in a bad performance today, let's say you've already been kicked out of the after-work beers. Let's say your office shut down at 2. It's 3:10, and they're already asking you to get in an Uber and go home. That's not good tomorrow. That's not good.
St. Patrick's Day on a Monday. Like,
no.
I control myself. I tend not to indulge in alcoholic beverages except on the weekends. Sometimes that's a loose rule. I get it. But Monday, if you're in the bar industry, and last year or the year, you had record sales. It was a Thursday. It was a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
People came in and got absolutely blacked out. Your numbers were huge. Your owners are expecting those numbers again this year. And then you look at the calendar probably right after and go, well, next year it falls on a Monday.
Yeah, I'd have to think if you're in the food and beverage business, Saturday would have been your golden ticket if you were going to have one this year, your pot of gold, that you had a really good Saturday. Because a lot of places did it on Saturday, and they've just kind of extended it. Like if you didn't make bank on Saturday, I don't know if you're making it up today. Like I said, it's snowing. You need a snowblower to go out. It's awful. But you got real life.
I would think that Friday would be the clubhouse leader because of the office. And so many, it's just an excuse to go out with office people and drink, whether if you like them or you don't.
Okay.
And there's, when you're younger too, there's like, hey, you get to go out and like flirt if you're not married and all that. The office politics are the same everywhere.
Sure.
Or that guy you want to fight. Maybe I did 3-4 beers.
Okay, hold on. Okay, set that aside. Okay, Curtis and Colson, the double C's and their age, they probably have a group chat text that I'm not involved with. Of, hey, let's go out for beers after work. That probably appeals to them. But you and I are older, where you're like, yeah. And if it's obligation from work because you're going to go just to be seen, you'll stay for one because your boss is paying, and you don't necessarily like your boss, but you're going to go anyways. Why not try and make life easier? Who do you want to go fight? Okay, that's a whole other thing. You're just going to go somewhere so you can get liquored up on the company tab and fight a coworker later?
You can honestly not tell me that. I've known you a long time. There's people that you worked with, and you got to have self-awareness. I get it. There's people that want to slap me around on St. Patrick's Day and vice versa. It's just, it seems like when you're younger, you get to go out and be crazy and have beers. Just Monday, though, man, I don't. And the reason I'm all greened out is because I thought for my kids, and I'm trying to get my kids to kind of still continue in wearing the green and, just participate, be a team player. Then I realized they don't have school today. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, Dad's still going to participate.
Well, yeah, we just dress the kids up in their Rider jerseys. Like, that's easy. Which, to me, as far as the Rider thing go and wearing green, I think this is a huge opportunity because it doesn't take us much to put on our Rider gear, but this day could really be blown up as far as if you took the green and the Rider angle, and you could really go nuts. Have you ever been to Chicago or any of those places that dye the river green or a place like that? I never have either. Now they go. That's hardcore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that would be a thing. That'd be a place today. New York. Eric Francis is going to be in New York. That'd be. There's lots of. I think the Mean Fiddler is one of my. It's like an Irish pub in. I want to say Hell's Kitchen area. Yeah.
Is there a bigger cult hero that could represent his country?
Who's a bigger Irish? Who's the when you think Irish athletes, who do you immediately think of?
Well, you said athletes. I was going to say Bono and the band U2, but that doesn't qualify. Conor McGregor, I think, is the only Irish athlete I know. I can't name another one because I'm not really a soccer guy.
Rory McIlroy? Don't say golf's not.
Yeah, but
don't.
No.
Padraig
to
Harrington?
Sure, but golfer. Conor McGregor, not that those guys aren't famous, but Conor McGregor is just kind of famous in all realms. Where Rory McIlroy and Padraig Harrington, you've really got to know your golf.
There's a famous NHLer that was born in Ireland. You'll know who this is. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to see if anyone texts in 936-6262. Somebody knows the answer to that. I knew. You. As soon as I say it, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I did. I remember that." That guy's from Ireland. We can go bands though. Is U2 your Irish band?
I think that's the only Irish band I know. There was one St. Patrick's Day. I don't know if you remember this. It was on a Friday, and Spirit of the West was playing. I was home by 8 o'clock because it was an early show. It started at 6. I was home by 8. I didn't make it. By the time Home for Rest came around, it was time for. I wasn't the only one getting put in cab out front. You got to get out of here. This is bad news.
The Irish Rovers, you know them.
Wasn't that a party? Get the double C's to whip up some Irish. Whip up the Irish Rovers.
We're not playing any music that Maz requests today because YouTube will cancel us again. And actually, I think it's just the audio we're okay. It's the video part. How about the Cranberries? Zombie, good tune.
Zombie, good song.
They didn't have the catalog that U2 has.
No,
as does Thin Lizzy, Snow Patrol, going through some Irish bands here. None of these would sell out.
Thin Lizzy's Irish. I didn't know I know that Thin Lizzy is. I didn't know they were Irish. Yeah, I heard you and Greg talking about that on Friday. Bands that would sell out Mosaic Stadium. Creed would, if it was Creed and Three Doors Down and all that, like the super Creed lineup. Would,
if they were $10 tickets, like you're going to a Pee Wee hockey game, there's no way they're selling them out. Speaking of concerts, last night, Jelly Roll was in Regina.
So it seemed like everybody in Saskatchewan with social media in the past 72 hours went to a Jelly Roll concert because there wasn't even any political posts on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter in the past 72 hours. It was just all shots of Jelly Roll, Instagram reels, photos, the fire thing on the stage, drunk people getting kicked out. Jelly, I think so many people relate because he grew up in he had a rough upbringing, was a juvenile that was in jail, drugs, crime, turned his life
Patrick's
around.
Day fights.
Just an incredible story. And his wife's name is Bunny. Bunny really? XO. She got a good podcast, yeah. They met. He was living in a van in Vegas when they started dating.
No. Wow.
Yes.
What was he doing in Vegas? Singing?
Struggling artist,
yeah.
Trying to get it together. And she's got an interesting background. She's dabbled in a few things. If you
with the name Bunny, I'd know what probably the odds on favorite I would go with, but that's for podcast time. That my son got to go to that concert last minute, thanks to the Morrow. Shout out, took him. He said it was awesome. Then the videos of what was that like? Fake snow coming down from it looked like the production value was pretty solid. If someone said, "Hey, here's a ticket. Do you want to go to Jelly Roll?" I'd go. I'm not a huge fan, but it did the eclectic audience, like you said. You had the rap fans, the wannabe rap guys that look, straight brim cap and chains and cartoon character lookalikes. Then you had the Kid Rock fans that, non-filtered Bud Heavies, let's roll. Then you had the country fans, like the real nice country fans, like that have gone to George Strait and Garth Brooks at the Coliseum. And then you just had other riffraff that some people got tossed before he even hit the stage.
Yeah, I saw that on Just Bins. Just dudes, like, it's one thing to get kicked out once the concert starts, but before he even hits the stage. But it's if that's you starring in that video on Just Bins, that's not the first time you've starred in a video like that. That's not a first offense. You've practiced that. You're that guy right now getting thrown out of somewhere on St. Patrick's Day on a Monday.
I can't comment any further on that because if my wife's listening, she's going to call me and be like, "You hypocrite. Can we go back to Bon Jovi at Mosaic Stadium?" It's another story for another time. Thanks.
What?
Hey, here's text messages came in. I knew the Sportscage listeners would know this. We got like 4 or 5 of them already.
Hey, just hold on. Who gets kicked out of Bon Jovi? At what point of the show? Because Bon Jovi's, that's mom and dad rock now.
It wasn't necessarily kicked out. But again, we're not getting into it right now.
You brought it up.
I know. And then I skirted it. I just said if my wife's listening, she is calling me a hypocrite. NHL player from Ireland, Owen Nolan.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Cole from North Dakota. Thanks, Cole, for listening. Love that you're listening to this. Should I say, is it cheesy if I go tariff-free program? Are we still friends, Cole? We friends on both sides of the border? I think we are. North Dakota's close.
Can we stop? There's some that's kind of it's getting over. Like, and I'm hearing this. Like, do your facts on Team Canada first before you just declare and wrap yourself in the flag. Maybe know the ins and outs.
But I think this is a shot to the Chicago Bears because he says Chicago dyes the river green as a tribute to the Green Bay Packers. Oh. Little dig there. I like it, Cole. Atta boy. Let us know when you're coming up this way, Cole. I need some supplies from American grocery store, if you know what I mean. 936-6262. You can always get in on the program. Okay.
Non-team Canada right there just put in his grocery order.
Can't get certain things. Hey, where do we want to start? What league? Like what craziness? Like NHL is getting nuts. We got enough Eric Francis NHL. Let's stay local to start.
Okay, first, in 10 seconds or less, I think this weekend did in the Calgary Flames. Them losing to Colorado on Friday and then the Vancouver Canucks winning on the weekend and Elias Pettersson scoring again. I think the Flames are done.
They're in tough. Eric Francis, hour 2, live from New York, Times Square. He said, I'll be checking into my hotel in Times Square. Like, yeah, awesome. AAA midget, Regina Pats Canadians. They went up to Saskatoon on Friday and lost, but then they brought it back to the Sixer last night and 5-2 win. I'm giving a shout out here to players Ethan Dundas, Dane Mansui, Logan Mell. Not on the score sheet, not lighting it up. These guys were blocking shots. They were getting greasy. Patsies have a 2-1 series lead. They have a chance to wrap it up on the West Side tomorrow, Game 4. Swift Current, Moose Jaw, the other series. Look at those scores if you're watching the stream. If you're not, I'll explain them.
2-1.
Swift Current, 2-1. Then they won Game 2, 2-1. Tight series. Tonight, 7 p.m. in Moose Jaw, Temple Garden Center. If you're in the area, probably go check it out. It's going to be a heck of a hockey game. I'm going straight to AAA. Well, first off, the crowd, I didn't go to the game because tough one for the Regina Pats Blues yesterday. What a run. It was just, we're hockeyed out. But I did watch the third period of that game. Pat C's and Blazers. Massive crowd. Big crowd. Moose Jaw Regina plays in the final. No offense, Swift Current. That C6 is going to be packed. Like more people than I've ever seen.
Though, I doubt the Warriors can beat the Legionnaires 3 games in a row to win this series. I doubt it. They're down 2-0. So if they're going to wrap it up tonight.
Backward sweep.
Mm-hmm.
Backward sweep. Print the T-shirts. Let's go. Shania Twain coming to town. Everyone's excited in Moose Jaw. AAA.
Oh, are we giving away tickets for that? The tickets are on sale Friday. Are we giving away tickets on the show this
Allegedly
week?
Not. I haven't heard anything.
I'm waiting. I'm looking for an email. I just keep hitting refresh Microsoft Outlook that the Shania Twain tickets, we're giving them out all week on the Sportscage. What's the promo department
Colson says
doing?
we are not. Colson says we got the Heisman. They pushed us to the side.
What?
Yeah. Notre Dame hosting Battleford tonight, 7:30 in female AAA hockey. 7:30 in Notre Dame. Up 1-0 are the Lady Hounds. Saskatoon's at Swift Current up 1-0. Prairie Junior Hockey League. It started Saturday night. We talked to a couple of the player from each team last week. Fort Knox in Game 1, 5-3. Did you hear this interviews I had last Madden Wallace, and he gave a shout out to his boy on the team, River Banks.
That's a great name.
He's got it.
Whoa.
Get him a guitar and to Nashville. It doesn't even matter if he can't play and sing. Just on name alone, somebody will sign him.
Well, it's like Colton Flash, great rock star, great wrestler. If you have both of those, River Banks could be either wrestler or a rock star. Awesome name. Good job, Mom and Dad. Banks family.
River Banks, starring River Banks. He had a hat trick in game 1. Zane Winter, 24 saves in the win. They go tonight. Game 2, the Richie. Trying to muster the energy to go to that one. Trying. It should be a good one. 7:30 at the Richie. Game 2, Prairie Junior Hockey League. Okay. Let's go SJHL, then we'll take a break and we'll go to the WHL because the WHL is getting just greasy. I have no idea how this is going to play out. We do know the teams that have a chance to get the first round pick, which should be Maddox Schultz. Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks in Southie, Saskatchewan, worth the drive every time, guaranteed. 2024 inventory, they're blowing it out. $260,000 in savings across the board. $2,000 off to $16,000 off. So, Maz, we are getting that matchup. Highway 10, first round, Yorkton versus Melville.
So for Benny, here's the question. Because you got to be a little bit of a homer when you play the play-by-play guy. But when you're doing these games, can you really be 50-50 and right down the middle?
Well, he pays tax. He pays tax in Melville. So I think he's got a cheer there, doesn't he?
Yeah, unless he's found a way like you to avoid paying taxes.
He's I think his lady friend's from Regina. So he's got to be going Moose Jaw or Melville. How did I avoid paying? That's the last thing I avoided to do. I wish. Except when Cole brings me up coffee from the Piggly Wiggly down south. That's the only way I'm avoiding tax paying. It's impossible in this country.
Oh,
Weyburn, Battleford.
Sidebar, just a sec. Sidebar. We can get right back to it. Because we haven't had a chance to talk about this. Are you in favor of the Real District getting an extra $5 million in the proposed budget this year?
What's it for?
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Exactly. I need to see a breakdown.
Doesn't matter. No, I'm all in. You want more?
I need to see a breakdown.
Here's more. Hey,
we need.
there's the dudes getting rolled on a jelly roll before the show started. Man, I would hate to be a security guard at a concert. That's the worst job ever. I'd
hate to be a security guard anywhere these days.
Just idiots. Man.
Yeah. What a way to end the weekend. Gonzo from Jelly Roll. If you're not watching the stream, we're just showing the video of the guys getting thrown out. Okay, so let's go back to the SJHL here. Sidetracks. Weyburn Battlefords, the 3 versus 6. Flin Flon will take on Humboldt, and then the number 1 ranked Melfort Mustangs face Kindersley in the 1 versus 8. Good job on the graphics, whoever did this, if you're watching the stream. So there it is. All games start Friday night from what I got.
Quick question. If you had to pick an upset, I would go Battleford's Weyburn, the 6 beating the 3. I think I can't decide Yorkton and Melville. But if there had to be one upset of the first round, I'll go Battleford's over Weyburn, the 6 beating the 3.
Nah, Weyburn's a buzzsaw, man. Weyburn's sneaky. I think Weyburn could do damage across the board this year for some reason.
But I feel like the Battlefords untapped potential there. And because the division they played in was so close, like they were all kind of just jumbled in there together.
Weyburn is...
I don't think Melfort's losing to Kindersley. That one's almost a lock.
Weyburn, if they win and Flin Flon beats Humboldt, Weyburn has to... That's the long trip. That's not Estevan. It's the second furthest.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And weren't you threatening to go do a game? Weren't you threatening to go to Flin Flon to do a Sportscage from there? I think it wasn't a threat.
It was a promise.
I think maybe you should take Colson and Curtis. I want to see you guys hop in a car or a truck or whatever you're going to drive and go. And look at that.
Come on, boys. Hey, let's go. Let's take a half ton with no back, like just one bench seat, and someone's got to sit in the middle and drive all the way to Flin Flon.
It's not me. You got to convince. It's Mrs. Schultz. You got to convince.
There go the fellas. Someone got a half ton that we can borrow to drive that would make it to Flin Flon and back. That just got the one bench seat. Just AM radio too. Let's go.
A nice old Ford 3 on the tree, AM radio, bench seat.
Would rather not the 3 on the tree thing.
No, with a dirty ashtray because the owner still smokes. Like that's how authentic this needs to be. Got a spare in there. You got a gas can, maybe some wrenches, not in a toolbox, just laying in the back. A grease gun that's like 3/4 empty. Beer cans.
It's set. Mm-hmm.
And you guys all share the same hotel room?
Oh, wow. Golly gee, I can't wait, Maz. This sounds like a fun Sportscage field trip. Can't wait.
Let's go.
Can I be the ashtray, you know?
No, I want to go up for the final. If Flin Flon plays Melfort, the commish, Kyle McIntyre says whoever wants can hop in, make it up there. But we'll cross that bridge when it comes. So that's the SJHL. We kind of ran down everything else. Like I said, Western Hockey League, after the break, we'll give you a heads up there. Plus, the teams that will now have a chance on the first round pick in this year's Bantam draft, which is highly likely to be Regina's Maddox Schultz. It's the Sportscage, streaming at sportscage.com, on X, and on the home of sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
CoolBet has all the hot games. For all the free-to-play casino games, head to coolbet.co. They've got sports odds, including Saskatchewan senior hockey, plus all the sports odds you can think of. From the ice to the field to the court, CoolBet has you covered. All at your fingertips. No risk, just thrill. So why wait? Get in the game and embrace the unexpected at coolbet.co.
When it comes to your tractor, why choose between power and versatility? Get big iron, power, and performance in a flexible package with Case IH Puma Series tractors. Keep cool and carry on day and night with an in-cab cool box and enhanced lighting. Maximize productivity with longer service intervals, up to 750 hours for engine oil and 1,500 hours for transmission fluid. And do it all in style with the latest Case IH design. Get the right size and power to take whatever your day brings with Case IH Puma Series tractors at Young's Equipment.
Busy Bee Doors is owned and operated by a trade expert with more than 4 decades of door repair experience. With Busy Bee, you receive the knowledge and experience that you and your garage deserve. And they can usually repair most door problems on their first visit. Their services include installation, maintenance, repairs, and the satisfaction of having your garage free of rats and anything else that can otherwise sneak in there. Call Busy Bee Doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
All the equipment and farmland you could need will be up for bid in the Ritchie Brothers 2025 Spring Ag Sales, starting March 19th, featuring over 55 farm auctions across Western Canada. These unique auctions are conducted entirely online, but equipment and property are always available for you to inspect during an in-person visit. Register today and get ready to bid on a variety of assets that include tractors, combines, sprayers, trucks, trailers, farmland, and more. Visit rbauction.com.
Time for the Western Hockey League report on the Sportscage. Brought to you by Extreme Hockey. Extreme Hockey gives back with their 12 days of giveaways. You have a chance to win with every purchase. Visit the store for details.
Yeah, thanks to Extreme Hockey, sponsor of the Western Hockey League report. Spring hockey around the corner. Go and see them. If you need your team kits, ball, maybe for spring hockey, Umbrella Marketing can hook you up there as well. Always local, always supporting local, extreme hockey and sport. Okay, so Regina Pats on the weekend. They fall to the Blades and the Broncos. They're in action tomorrow against the Swift Current Broncos. It's that Farmer Appreciation Night and Tailgate Party. If you're covered from Jelly Roll, get down there, 4 p.m. It starts. Hell and Back, AC/DC, cover band, tribute band. We'll be playing. We got 2 tickets to give away. We got 4 tickets to give away. If you and 3 friends want to go, load up the half-ton, roll into town like we're going to do on the way to Flin Flon. We got tickets to the game and to the pregame party with Hell and Back. Thanks to Thunderstruck Ag Equipment and Canada's Farm Show.
Okay, so what's the opening song that they play? If they're the AC/DC tribute band, Hell and Back, it's Thunderstruck Equipment. Yeah, you can't open with Thunderstruck. That's got to be somewhere in the middle, or
you close.
That's got to be you close with that. Okay, so what's the opening song? Shouldn't every game be Farmer Appreciation Game? Like, just with where we live? Like, every game is
true.
That. True.
Opening song's definitely got to be Hell's Bells.
Could be.
Curtis is, Hell's Bells, nice.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But there's another one that flies under the radar. I don't know, man. Has anyone ever seen Hell and Back, cover band AC/DC? 936-6262.
Here, how are we spelling Hell and Back? Is it Hell and Back?
Yes. Look up their set lists. While I go through the business at hand, the Western Hockey League report.
I think they're from Manitoba.
Broncos have clinched. So that it's all set. We have the standings to throw up. East Division, Western Hockey League. We got 3 games left to play. Brandon, what we're keying on is the second place, the second seed in the Eastern Conference. Brandon has 79 points. The Saskatoon Blades also have 79 points. The Prince Albert Raiders have 78. All have 3 games left to play. Brandon holding some sort of tiebreaker with the Blades, obviously. So that's that. And I think it's the Blades and Brandon play tomorrow night.
Yeah. Because let's see, if you're
Wednesday.
the Blades and if you're the Blades and you finish in second, your life is a whole lot better than you end up being like 5-6. Because then it's a tough row. If you finish 5, you're taking on Lethbridge in the first round.
Marty Murray and Brandon. Roger McQueen's playing now. Dan DeSilva and Saskatoon. Hilty. Both great guys. Awesome organizations. Obviously, hometown bias. Gonna have to go Blades. Hope. But it's so Maz. I think we talked about it on the weekend. The 3 teams that will get the ping pong balls and have a chance for the first overall pick in the Bantam draft. If you see there, the Regina Pats, they only have 38 points on the campaign. The Moose Jaw Warriors have 36. Kelowna's got 40. Mm-hmm. So how if it was today, it would be Moose Jaw, Regina, Kelowna. Now, I know a lot of you out there are going, Moose Jaw doesn't have a pick. Correct. That belongs to the Edmonton Oil Kings. So right now, Edmonton would get 6 ping pong balls. The Regina Pats would get 5. The Kelowna Rockets would get 4. The Kelowna Rockets are hosting the Memorial Cup next year. They need bodies. Curious what kind of wheeling and dealing will go on. What do you like how that works? Do you like how the odds are? Only the bottom 3 teams have a chance to get it. All that?
Well, when I was going through the standings today and I saw that the Pats, and they're hard-earned, there's 15 wins. How many? You can't go through another season like this. You got to do whatever you can. This is me. If I'm doing whatever I can. Trade away the farm in the future because this kid is the real deal. The future. He's the leading scorer in the AAA playoffs. He's got 13 points. He's got 6 goals. He's got 7 assists. And he's still got more AAA to play before he hits the dub. Like, you have to do this. Like he's going to be another one of these generational game changer type players. And if he ends up in Moose Jaw, okay. But if he ends up in Kelowna, it's like, eh.
Well, he won't end up in Moose Jaw unless there's a trade.
No.
He could end up in Edmonton.
Okay. Sure. And ending up in Edmonton where, and it's funny. And the other thing too is it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. Not that you're not going to hear about him, but once they move on, if he's playing for the Pats next year, that's one thing. But if the Pats go all in to get him and then he can play games up and down, they can really max that to the limit. They can play him at home. Like if you're trying to build, like if you don't care, that's one thing. But if you're trying to build something, and I don't think any owner out there of any of these teams is okay with 15 wins. Can't base a business on that.
It is what it is. And they know the situation and they know where they stood and they have a real legit shot of getting this. So they'll be a scrappy bunch. I hope they keep everything in place. Everybody's back. We're running this back next year. Everyone's got experience now. Maybe going to add a couple of pieces. If you get to add Maddox Schultz, awesome. Yeah, but I don't think there's any way that they let Edmonton take them. That's just gonna be okay. What is it going to take? What do you need? It's like if our half-ton breaks down on the way to Flin Flon and there's nowhere. What do you need? Pay you whatever. I don't think
I get it.
Cash changes.
Maybe
hands,
if this
picks and bodies.
If this kid was from Fort Nelson, British Columbia, maybe we don't care. And you're like, well, it's just some kid from some other province. It's like that kid in Manitoba, like the Maddox Schultz of Manitoba that is racking up all those points.
He's so
scoring
good.
Like 100, I know, like 160 points. Like he is. But it's a Regina kid. It's right here. This is the kind of stuff. If you want fans back in the stands, you want people to care, because I think that's what you want. Because the other thing too is there's no guarantees. This NCAA thing can really screw things up because guys can be like, I'm out. Injuries, guys just changing their mind. Look at the roster that the Pats started with, and then look how that played out to where we are now. I got it. They were going younger, but you can never count on injuries. Some guys lose their taste for the game. Like it just happens. The roster won't be the same.
Well, obviously, everybody's very interested. If you're tied into the Western Hockey League, if you're a Pats fan, if you're a Pat Canadians fan, you're just...
But here's the other thing as well, because we're sitting here going, wow, there's only going to be possibly 3 teams bidding. Let's say Edmonton does get the winning ping pong ball. Who's to say that one of these other teams, like a Saskatoon, whoever, it's like, okay, what do you need? Well, no, we want them. No, we want in on this as well. Because there's not many of these Maddox Schultzes grown on trees, right?
No, that's Liam Pugh kid's supposed to be pretty good too. Who's the other? So if you can say, so if you get Pugh, hypothetically, let's say the Pats got the second pick, Edmonton's got first. Then you go, okay, and Edmonton goes, well, we want that prospect and your second pick, your pick, obviously number 2. So then you get a prospect, and then you get this Pugh, or even more. They're holding all the cards. I don't care how wealthy or whatever. They're holding all the cards. It's going to be so interesting to see how this plays out. And yes, he is a generational talent. Go and watch him play. If Patsy's advance or if this Blazer series comes back, and keep in mind he's 14 years old. 14, and some of the kids in the league are 18. And he's the leading scorer. It's crazy. Matthias Hofer in Lumsden. I think I'm saying his name right. Solid text message on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. They open with Helen back. He knows.
Oh, really?
He's in the know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking at them. They actually look. They look the part. Like the lead singer looks like Brian Johnson. The Angus guy looks like Angus. He's got the uniform on.
Well, let's go. Hair. I got nothing to do tomorrow as of right now, so I think I'm going to take it in. Do we got a break, Colson? Okay, we're going to take a quick break, come back. There is some really good hockey in the area tonight. It's senior hockey up the road. Massive game, Provincial A. And then we're going to hear from one of the competitors at this week's Combine. It's the Sportscage, streaming at sportscage.com.
All the equipment and farmland you could need will be up for bid in the Ritchie Brothers 2025 Spring Ag Sales, starting March 19th, featuring over 55 farm auctions across Western Canada. These unique auctions are conducted entirely online, but equipment and property are always available for you to inspect during an in-person visit. Register today and get ready to bid on a variety of assets that include tractors, combines, sprayers, trucks, trailers, farmland, and more. Visit rbauction.com.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. They've got everything you need for your projects. 600 Albert Street. PrairieLandRental.com. Back to Sportscage. Text 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
It's Bronny Shinkara, Chris Mazurek, CNC, and the Sheriff for Kellen Solar in Lumsden, Saskatchewan. Speaking of Lumsden, Maz, Saturday evening, Round Lake Bears, Lumsden Monarchs, all of 1,250 people in the Lumsden barn. I don't know if you saw the tweet that the Sportscage retweeted. What a game. Just dirty at the end, what you would expect. I forget what the 50-50 was. I think about $5,000.
Were there fans fighting in the lobby?
Something happened. There was some sort of dust up after. I think it was friendly fire though. I think it was two Lumsden guys. Somebody will correct me. Will text me right away if that wasn't the case.
I did see your tweet before the game. There was a glass of beer, a ticket, and some money on the table. So was that like the 50-50 fund?
That's the 5 game. Was about? That's the 5 game I play. So we met some new friends at one point. I think there was probably about 10 of us. You put in $5, and there you get a rotation, and then every whistle, the money gets passed, and whoever's holding the money when a goal is scored, you put that right in your pocket, and then you re-up. Everyone re-ups. You can go 10s, you can go 20s if you want to get crazy, but we went 5. We went 5 bangers right into overtime. It was fun. That's the game. Play it with your friends. You heard it here first. Okay, so Round Lake then went back to the Ochapowace First Nation yesterday. They beat Lumsden. Tight game again. So they're going to the Provincial A final. The crazy thing, who they will play will either be Kenaston or Kyle. Game 3 in that goes tonight.
Oh.
In Kenaston on a Monday evening. I don't know. Unless it's a holiday tomorrow in Kenaston and area. A Monday. Okay, so go watch that if you're in that area. That'll be great. Other news, Davidson's up 1-0 on Moosomin in Provincial B. Provincial C, Foam Lake Wilkie was an epic back and forth shootout. We can touch on it more later. Foam Lake pulls it out, 1-0. They're going back to Wilkie with a chance to wrap it up. Provincial D, Redvers and Needham start this weekend. And then shout out to the Q-Park Canucks. They won the Prairie Men's Hockey League over Ituna, first year for that league. Congrats to everyone that was involved in firing up the Prairie Men's Hockey League. I suspect a few more teams will be joining that next year. And then, so that's senior curling. Before we go to break, Rachel Homan, 3-1. They beat Denmark 9-3 today. Later tonight, they're in Korea. They're getting ready for the USA and Turkey. Turkey is winners. You got 5 seconds.
I saw on Saturday, because the kids were watching, Rachel Holman was playing Lithuania. The lady from Lithuania looked to be about 60. And then there's Rachel Holman. They're all young.
Was the lady from Lithuania, what is she wearing? Was she wearing wind pants or yoga pants?
Nah, I don't know. It looks like she got a perm done in my mom's kitchen in the mid-'80s. I was like, the Lithuanian hairstyles. And not Team Holman, that's for sure.
We're going to break. When we come back, Dave Thomas talks to Lane Novak competing at the CFL Combine. It's the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Dinner served.
What's this?
Pizza.
Looks like cardboard.
It is. Cut into a circle.
What?
Hope you're hungry.
You wouldn't order cardboard for dinner, and that's not what you get when you order from Western Pizza.
Think I'll order Western Pizza.
They've got their pizza down to perfection. Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste. Dine in or take out. Order today.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
All the equipment and farmland you could need will be up for bid in the Ritchie Brothers 2025 Spring Ag Sales, starting March 19th, featuring over 55 farm auctions across Western Canada. These unique auctions are conducted entirely online, but equipment and property are always available for you to inspect during an in-person visit. Register today and get ready to bid on a variety of assets that include tractors, combines, sprayers, trucks, trailers, farmland, and more. Visit rbauction.com.
Come join an unforgettable evening at the Regina Red Sox Dinner and Auction on Saturday, April 26th at the Turvey Center. This year's special guest will be Saskatchewan Roughriders head coach Corey Mace and offensive coordinator Mark Mueller. Pre-dinner drinks will start at 6 p.m. and dinners at 7. And don't forget the live and silent auction. Tickets are available at reginaredsox.com. Get your tickets now for the Regina Red Sox Dinner and Auction Saturday, April 26th. And support Regina Red Sox baseball. Presented by Dusick and Barlow Insurance at SGI Canada. Play ball!
Don't miss a minute of Sportscage. Podcasts are posted at sportscage.com. 620 CKRM.
Our countdown to the Canadian Football League Combine continues. We're pleased to be joined by University of Saskatchewan Husky linebacker, Balgonie native, Lane Novak. And Lane, let's hop right in. How's the offseason been?
It's been great. Healed up from all the injuries that come out of the season and lots of training. A little trip over New Year's and then right into the training for the Combine and prep starting in January.
The older you get, do off seasons seem longer or shorter?
Oh boy. I'd say they always seem short. I'd say even like from the start of the career to the end of the career, it always seems to go by pretty fast. Yeah, you make it through that spring semester and then all of a sudden it's summertime and then all of a sudden it's the season. So I found they always seem to be fast regardless of where you are in your career.
Well, this offseason has a little more importance when it comes to aspirations for the Canadian Football League. Have you changed anything at all?
Yep, we've the training program that we're on is a little bit different, a little bit more specific for the CFL Combine itself. Other than that, still training with the same people, the same trainers, out of the same facilities. So while similar, still just a little bit different, preparation for something a little different.
Now, physical testing will happen in Regina over a couple of days. You obviously know going in what to expect. Does that make it any easier to prepare, though?
Yes, I believe so. Having an idea of the events that are tested upon. As a linebacker, you have to be able to do them all and be able to do them all well. So definitely, being able to practice those and train those gets you feeling good and feeling a little bit more confident going into that day. And also having some, prior teammates that I've reached out to and been talking to in the process, letting me know about their experiences and what it was like has definitely helped as well.
Do you landmark yourself then in the offseason? Okay, I want to be at this specific point for this specific test at this specific time, or is it all about trying to hit your peak come the end of March?
Yeah, I'd say it's more about kind of just doing as much as you can. There's definitely goals that I had in mind of less about a certain number, but maybe more just like a certain range. Some events I feel that I might be I'm shooting for the top of the pack, and others I want to be in the middle of the pack. But yeah, ultimately I think I'm just trying to do with the time we had, trying to get myself as prepared and get the numbers, I guess, as best as possible. What's the emotions or the energy like? Is it nerves or is there anxiety? I just want to get it over with. How do you feel? Yeah, I mean, definitely a little bit nervous. Lots more excitement. I wouldn't say I'm feeling super anxious about it. Yeah, we've been practicing and training for this. Yeah, it's football. Football's always been something that we've done our entire lives. That's kind of it's a part of us now. So I kind of just look at this as if it's another game, as another event that I'm prepping for. So, we've done the training. And we've put in the work, so now it's just time to go, show who we are and go do it. So to use your analogy then, that you're preparing for another game, is the opponent you? Oh, boy. Wow, Dave. Is the opponent me? Oh, goodness. I guess so. I guess it would have to be. Yeah, not letting myself get in the way of succeeding there. And, it's definitely a competition. You're competing against, the other 90 guys that are going to be there, absolutely, and trying to show the best. But yeah, I guess you could say that I'd be my own competition in a sense.
So what information have you drawn from your former teammates that have gone through this process, or even you don't have to look far in that Husky clubhouse to look at your head coach and Scott Flory, because he's been there, done that?
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. Like I said, they've been a huge resource for me kind of in preparations for this, especially guys that have done it in the last couple of years. So Dayton Black, Nick Wiebe, this past year, and then Nathan Cherry and Riley Pickett, Noah Zerd, like a whole bunch of them that I played with in the last couple of years. Really just said to, be prepared and like be prepared to take care of myself, like have all my stuff ready, my food, my snacks, like everything I need for that combine day. And when it comes to the practice day, kind of just do everything that they ask of you, and maybe even try to do more. Just give everything you got, listen and try and learn from them, but give everything you got while you're out there. And that's kind of it.
There's a couple of components when it comes to the combine. Obviously, there's a physical testing, and even a dummy like me, Lane Novak, can sit there and go, wow, that was pretty fast. But then there's the psychological testing, or testing your mentality through the series of interviews that you'll have an opportunity to perform in. Can you prepare for that?
Yes and no. I feel like there's a few questions that you expect them to ask, maybe. But otherwise, like you can't really know exactly what they're going to ask or how they're going to approach it. So for me, I feel like through just some media training and some experience with interviews over the past, 5 years as a Husky have kind of prepared me for that. I really just go into it with a positive attitude, and I've prepped a little bit and kind of trying to figure out who some of the people that'll be interviewing me are, and stuff like that. But really just go in there with a positive attitude and a smile on my face, and give the best answers I can truthfully, and hopefully that's the best case scenario.
Would it be wrong to suggest that this is just a job interview intensified?
It's 9 of them in the same weekend, yeah. So yes, it is. It's exactly like that. There's obviously other components to it, of course, but yes, that's simplified. That's what it is. The CFL is a job. It's a business. It's work.
At what point growing up in Balgonie did you think that, hey, this is a job that I would like to pursue?
Growing up in Saskatchewan, being a Rider fan, like being around Riderville, that was kind of the pinnacle. I didn't start playing football till I was in grade 5, and I didn't really start taking it truly seriously as like my main sport until I was in high school. And kind of just as the progression went, I never saw I had a goal of being in university. Obviously the CFL is the dream, like that's the pinnacle, I guess, for a young guy in Saskatchewan. But that dream didn't really come into place as something that I wanted to do as a job and work until I was in university, and I'd kind of found my way in university and started to develop as a player. That I started to take it far more seriously, and and while my degree will still be very important, and I'm going to make sure that I do that first, or not do that first, but make sure that I get that done ultimately. But yeah, it's definitely in my university career, I figured out that I wanted to pursue this as a job.
Was there ever a moment that, hey, this is realistic, this is within grasp? Did that ever occur?
I mean, having like you said with head coach Scott Flory and now former defensive coordinator Warren Musica and some of the CFLers that we had in our staff, kind of just hearing through some of the contacts that they had and some of the stuff that they would say, kind of just made that little tick, like whether they said they were even just talking to someone and my name got brought up, then that's kind of where that tick happened. It probably happened after my first year when I found some success. But yeah, really just a little bit of, hype up, I guess, from some of my former CFL coaches.
Well, it's a pretty good batch you've had to work with over the years. So congratulations on the invitation. We wish you all the best in Regina during the Combine, and thanks so much for taking some time.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Dave. Thank you.
This is 620 CKRM Regina, a Harvard media station. Available everywhere on the CKRM app, Radio Player Canada, and at 620CKRM.com.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. It's cloudy and it's -6 in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the sasktoday.ca newsroom with 620 CKRM News. Saskatchewan's opposition NDP says it'll pressure Premier Scott Moll's government to put Canada first as politicians return for the spring legislative sitting during a turbulent trade war with the U.S. NDP leader Carla Beck says her party plans to introduce an emergency motion this week that calls on legislators to condemn U.S. President Donald Trump for proposing to annex Canada and imposing tariffs on Canadian goods.
Let's be strong. Let's be proud. The true North, strong and free. Right now, we're in the fight of our lives, and we must win it.
Mo's Saskatchewan Party government is to introduce a budget this week with a focus on what the Premier says will be health care, education, and crime. March is Pharmacy Appreciation Month in the province, a time to celebrate pharmacists and their teams for their role in health care. The province has worked with pharmacists to expand their ability to prescribe medications, which now includes treatments for 34 conditions such as bladder infections and shingles. Health Minister Jeremy Cockrell says pharmacies are often the first place people turn to for medical advice. With over 2,200 pharmacists and pharmacy technicians in more than 430 locations, the government continues to optimize pharmacy services to provide better care for Saskatchewan residents. The Saskatchewan ICE unit is investigating more child exploitation cases than ever. Reports have risen sharply, with 1,317 expected this year, up from 1,003 last year. ICE has already carried out 86 search warrants in 2025. Staff Sergeant Tim Failer says technology makes it easier for offenders to access illegal material. He stresses that online exploitation is not just a big city issue, it happens across the province. Parents are urged to talk to kids about online safety, monitor their activity, and report any suspicious behavior to police or cybertip.ca. And Mark Carney's first trip to Europe as Prime Minister has wrapped up. He visited the leaders of France and the UK to discuss strategy in Ukraine. Carney says he's not trying to rally other countries into a trade war with the US.
We take our own decisions with respect to our bilateral trade relationships with the United States. We're not trying to organize a coordinated retaliation. Other countries will take those decisions.
Carney met earlier with French President Emmanuel Macron and signed a bilateral partnership on intelligence and security. And an assortment of James Taylor songs will fuel an upcoming stage musical, Fire and Rain. That's the title of one of Taylor's most iconic songs, released in 1970. Taylor joins Alicia Keys, Dolly Parton, and Neil Diamond for having their songs turned into a stage musical. There's been no timeline revealed on whether Fire and Rain will be first staged. That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620CKRM.com. Your weather is next.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Some say the number 13 is bad luck, like walking under a ladder. Well, 13 is a very lucky number when you're talking Western Pizza. Like their delicious 13-inch pepperoni from Western Pizza. That makes it, well, the luckiest number of all. Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste. Dine in or take out. Order today.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
There's market uncertainty, and it could cost you. New U.S. trade policies are driving up the price of equipment, parts, and essential supplies. Canadian farmers are left wondering, what's next? At Canada's Farm Show Regina, presented by Viterra, at the Real District, we bring the experts to the table with elbows up, U.S. politics and Canadian ag. This is your chance to hear from industry leaders breaking down what fast-changing and unstable markets mean for your farm and what to watch for next. Tickets at Canada's Farm Show, reginask.ca.
And now it's time for your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast for Linex Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street. Tonight, some lingering cloudiness and a low of -12. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies, maybe a passing flurry in the afternoon with a high of -3. And then on Wednesday, mostly sunny skies and a high of -1. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's cloudy. Winds are from the northwest at 9 and it's -4. Regina is also cloudy. Winds are from the south at 7 and it's -6. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to our daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Howdy, Wood Country Woody here. Last winter, my house was colder than a cast iron toilet and tuck. Brr. So naturally, I went to Wood Country to look at Cold-Tech windows and doors. Turns out, Wood Country's winter book and special is happening right now, and I saved a bundle and a half. It's simple. Get warm. Save money. Order Cold-Tech from Wood Country.
Your home is your castle.
In McLean, Estevan, and Tisdale.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Kellen Solar, 35 years of experience, moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. Visit kellensolar.com to find out more about your livestock operation. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Yeah, thanks to Kellen Solar, sponsor of the Monday show. You can call them for all your solar needs. The livestock industry. Things were looking pretty good, Maz. Like the nice little slow melt. Starting to see grass in areas. And woke up today, and I'm glad I left all the shovels out. Mrs. S is like, put the shovels away. And I'm like, we're still getting snow. We're still getting snow. Do you know that I will use those shovels again? I will grab those shovels and be using them soon. It was kind of more of a see if anyone else in the family was going to help out on a little shoveling action, but nope.
Yeah, no, shovels outside till at least May long weekend, because you just never know. Because there's nothing worse than to be like, you put the shovel. And the other thing too is both vehicles, my wife, they need to be washed badly. But in this economy, can you be throwing $10 a car away and then within minutes it just be, well, it's just as dirty as it was 20 minutes ago before I waited in line at the car wash.
That's why one of my high school jobs, I worked at a oil change place, and the one bay on Circle Drive in Saskatoon, the one bay was you get a car wash. So if you got a full oil change, you got to have your car hand washed by us, pigeons sitting in these wash bay. It was a great gig. Don't get me wrong, loved it. Except when you had to show up for work and there was like a party the night before. I remember that being awful. But I learned how to wash a car with a wand and a brush in under 2 minutes. So I can go in, spend $2.80 and wash my car, head to toe. I know there's like a scoop drill, but yeah, it was snowy out there this morning, and I'm looking at people driving home right now. Things downtown Regina, 12th and Rose. It still might take you a few extra moments. And then what's the winter tire? What's the winter tire plan? That's always the tough one. Now, how much highway driving are we possibly doing between beginning mid-April to May? And do we want to make that decision? Are we confident? How confident are we? There's nothing worse than getting stranded somewhere and there's a foot of snow and now you got to drive back on your summer tires.
So I'm going to go back to when we were kids, that the winter tires nowadays, they're not winter tires. I want to go back to when Dad put the studs on. Those were winter tires. We have the all-weathers. No. Studs, real winter tires. Everything else is just a summer tire that you happen to be able to charge me an extra $200 for because I'm a sucker. All right? That's simply it. Because you gave me a pamphlet and I'm desperate.
We never We never had studs. I think we just rolled the all seasons. All seasons. That's what we did. Let's talk some NHL. He's now joining us from New York.
Now for Inside the NHL with Eric Francis on the Sports Cage. Inside the NHL is brought to you by Selfie Mainline Chrysler, the newest king of trucks. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed.
Oh, there you are. I thought for sure you were going to have the Times Square in the background somewhere just to really just juice us here.
No, I wouldn't do that to you. I'm trying to get centered here.
Got to move to your right. There you go. Yeah. There you go.
Your broadcast right to left. By the way, Can I ask a question about that? You radio people, do you find, is there merit in a broadcaster saying, okay, we're starting tonight from my broadcast left to right, wearing red, white, and teal, blah, blah, blah. Do people care or really do picture left to right when they're listening on the radio?
That is a question that I've asked because it was about, I want to say the late 90s that I started hearing that. And moving from abroad, and I was like, and now everybody seems to do it. I could give a rip.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, no, me too. But as far as, I don't know if I have an opinion on it, but everybody does it now. Doesn't matter the sport.
They do.
I'm like, really? I haven't seen what the Oilers jerseys are like. They're orange, blue, and white. Okay. Yeah.
But it's the left. I know they're trying to paint a picture, left to right. It's not the colors it's from my broadcast left to right. So, okay. So maybe it helps. Maybe people are literally going, okay, as I drive down the highway, I'm like, okay, now I can picture in my mind. They're going to my right. Oh, now they're going to my left. Oh, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I love it. I've thought about that. No, I've thought about that too. I'm like, it's just people. It's just like when they used to say, if you're scoring at home in baseball. Yeah. If you're scoring at home, that was what kind of nerd?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's scoring at home? Colson's wants to. Sorry if I offended you.
No, the one I hear a lot too is left to right on your radio dial.
That's what he was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's specifically giving the person the perspective. Yeah. I hear it all the time around here. So yeah, it's everywhere.
Well, at least we know.
What's St. Patrick's Day like in New York? What's the plan here? I know you got a big hockey game to go to, but you did pack something green. It's New York. Oh, God. There's something going on every night there.
Oh yeah, I literally just raced into my hotel, coming through the Holland Tunnel here and all this stuff, and I got here with minutes to spare, so all good. But so you go by several restaurants, bars, you could see people are into it. My hotel lobby is just brimming right now. I'm the boys that I'm meeting for later. Suffice it to say, there's a lot going on, and I will be partaking in all of it. So you mentioned that there's a game tomorrow, but this is the best case scenario for a broadcaster writer because they're playing tonight in Toronto. I decided to skip that and come straight to New York as a veteran would.
Nice.
And I'll keep an eye on the game maybe. But there's no morning skate here in Manhattan tomorrow for the Rangers game. So that means I don't have to get up early to meet the boys. So I just show up at the rink at 5:00. This is the perfect scenario. Yeah.
On 47th Street, 266 47th Street to be exact, a nice little place called the Mean Fiddler. It'll be buzzing. It'll be buzzing tonight.
Yeah. I bet there's going to be a number of places. One of the players has a friend who owns a bar that we're going to, that I'm heading to as soon as we finish talking. So make it quick.
All right.
This is a business.
Okay. We'll get down to it. So a brilliant veteran move like you said. So you skip flying to Pearson International Airport in Toronto, which is a disaster. Worst airport pretty much anywhere. Flames play the Leafs tonight. Eric, let's go back to Friday. Colorado wins, but it wasn't the Colorado we all expected, the high-flying McKinnon show and all of that. It was some of the lesser lights. The Canucks win on the weekend. They seem to be getting it together. I think, and I'd love to want to get your thoughts, Did the Calgary Flames season end this past weekend, especially if they don't win tonight, that the playoff hopes are done?
Oh, I'm not going to go that far, but I will say that there's certainly an air in the city that this could be the end, like this road trip, you know. And not that it's a murderer's row. I mean, obviously Toronto's a tough place to win. And then you got a back-to-back in New York. You know, the Rangers are middle of the pack. Islanders are no big threat. Even Jersey right now is sinking like a rock. So it's not the toughest opponents, but it's tough to be on the road anywhere, especially in New York. And it just feels like the Flames, like you woke up this morning as a Flames fan and you saw that you're now officially on the outside looking in. You got games in hand on everybody, but you're not just the next team in line. There's a couple ahead of you now. You know, and Utah's right there now. St. Louis is right there. It's a 4-horse. Well, it's a 3 or 4 horse race for one spot. And you know, I don't like those odds ever, and I definitely don't like those odds when you're spending a lot of your remaining games on the road, and you're a team that hasn't been there and done it before. So, you know, it's an uphill climb for sure for the Flames. But I'm not at the point now with 18 games left to say if they lose tonight, it's over. Like that's a little much for me. But you got to start stringing together. I think they're 500 over their last 10 games. That's not going to cut it from now to the end.
Regina Pat fans, Moose Jaw Warrior fans. Dryden Hunt was called up with the team. He's still making the trip. He's with them for this roadie.
Yeah, he's on the fourth line tonight. They brought him up because he's been in the league. He's played in several different cities, and you know, he's versatile. So they didn't want to call up a young kid. It's too late for that sort of experiment now. Now it's bringing a veteran who is not going to be lost in the moment. And I was happy to see him. He's a good guy, so I'm happy to welcome him back.
Man, that year that him and Point, did they light it up in Moose Jaw, points-wise? It was like they were playing adult safe hockey every night. Like it was just point night. But Estevan's Braden Pahal has been getting benched. Like, scapegoat? What? Like, maybe I'm not watching close enough.
The coach referred to it as puck management. Like, he just thinks he needs to be a little bit better getting the puck out of his own zone. Like, you know, he wasn't born with gifted hands. I mean, he's here because he's a lunch pail type of guy. He's the biggest hitter on the Flames. He hits more than anybody. He hits harder than anybody. And they love him as a rock, as their number 6 defenseman. They've loved him all year. So it's pretty surprising about a week ago when he first found himself being a healthy scratch. And then the fact that it's happened a couple times since, or once more since, like, I'm a little surprised. But I think they're just trying to send the message, look, we have options. We need more out of you. And so I would expect him to come in, and I'll bet you over the course of the next 3 or 4 games on the road here, if he's in, I know he's in tonight, you'll see him throw some pretty big hits and, reestablish himself as that number 6 guy. I think he's invaluable to this team and to the identity that they want to have.
Well, you'd mentioned defensemen, and the thing is, Mackenzie Weegar is playing 25, 26, 27 minutes a game. Nothing against Mackenzie Weegar, but if the Flames don't have anybody else that they can throw, it's too much. And by the third period, they're worn down, and said McCall's getting benched, and you've got some other liabilities out there. Is that a formula for success when they got to play Weegar that much?
Well, I think he's their best defenseman, so I'm going to defend him that way. Like, he's their best defenseman, and I think this organization went into the season knowing they've got 2 guys who are bona fide, everyday NHLers, and the rest are question marks. Well, Kevin Ball's come in, and he's not a question mark anymore. He's playing on the top line. He's been phenomenal. So you got 3 guys you can lean on heavily. The other 3 are rotating, moving parts. The likes of Joel Hanley, the likes of Braden Pahal, Jake Bean. We even saw Tyson Barrie in there for at spurts. Danil Marimanov. Like, these are guys who are not everyday NHLers on a lot of teams in the NHL. Yet, at the end of the day, guys, they're in last place in scoring in the league, and they still hold a playoff spot. So they've done it with great defense. So even though they're no names, you got to give this team credit for playing some of the better defense in the National Hockey League. We know that the goaltending's had a huge say in all this, but the defense deserves some credit too, even though a lot of them were big questions coming into the season.
Maz is buying a lot of Vancouver Canucks stock. Over the last hour and a bit of the show here. I still don't think that they're going to run away with it. I'd obviously like to see Calgary scrap their way in. I still think St. Louis, schedule-wise, who's got the sketchiest schedule?
I think the Flames do. I think they have the hardest schedule of all those teams. I saw that, that's that strength of schedule thing there. And I'm just thinking even the home games they've got coming down the stretch. Yeah, there are some Anaheims in there. There's some San Jose's in there. Some, somewhat easier games. But I know that Vegas comes visiting twice at the latter half of the season in the Dome. Those are almost automatic losses for the Flames. I'm with you. If the smart money to me is on St. Louis. Not only I think are they the better team out of the four, and there's a lot of guys still on that roster who know how to get it done, from their cup years, including their goalie. But also I just think they have the most momentum right now. They've come from the farthest back and now find themselves in a real nice spot. My money's on St. Louis if I got to put it somewhere, that's for sure.
The last time you and I were putting money on someone together, though, it didn't work out that well.
Well, the last time I bet with you, it didn't work out well for me. I still owe you a case of So, anyway, there's that.
So the Leafs lose to Ottawa on the weekend. It was, Twitter was melting down. Besides the Jelly Roll concert in Saskatoon and Regina, Twitter was melting down because the Leafs lost to the Ottawa Senators. Overall, Leafs played decent hockey. Austin Matthews obviously isn't having the year that he had last year, but what has he got? 25 goals. Are the Leafs just kind of happy to be just kind of simmering in the weeds? No expectations, no President's Trophy they're flirting with. Just kind of
Ottawa's going to catch them.
Huh?
Wow, first of all, I got to tell you guys something funny. I was on Toronto radio this morning, and I don't think they asked me a question about Calgary. How very Toronto is that? Like they asked me only about Austin Matthews. Is he injured or is he just having a bad season? What do you think it is? What are you hearing?
Shouldn't they know that? They're in Toronto.
Why are you asking me about Austin Matthews? That's always something that is another radio phenomenon that I can't figure out.
Did they say we're talking from our radio dial left to right?
Yeah. Unbelievable, right? Like just so, the sky's falling there. But all I kind of said, I'm like, it's almost like they brought me on to calm everybody down. Like I didn't know that was my role. I didn't get up early to do that. But I said, like, does it really matter? Like, haven't you guys seen this for the last 7, 8, 9 years? Like, the Leafs are good. They're actually really good during the regular season. They are still really good. Does it matter if they finish first, second, or third in their division? Who cares? None of it matters as long as these guys start to maybe pick it up with the last 5 or 6 games. You're 20 games out. Who cares about these games for the next 10? They're big games for Ottawa. That was a huge game for Ottawa. Ottawa's rolling right now, and I think they're proving that they're going to be that team that gets into that final spot in the East. And I think it's on tremendous merit. They finally found that goalie that's going to put them over the top. And they've got depth, and now they have momentum. But as far as the Leafs go, I think they lost 5 of 6. I didn't know any of this until they told me all this on the radio this morning. And I got news for Toronto. Nobody else cares. Like nobody else cares about your stupid Leafs. And they're in a tailspin right now, but we've seen that a million times before. Is Austin Matthews injured? Probably. Or is he just having a bad spell? Well, guess what? By the time the playoffs come along, A, I bet he'll be healthy, and B, he'll be better. So stop worrying.
Talk to us about the goaltending in Toronto. Eric, just kidding. Ottawa, one of the hottest teams in the National Hockey League. Like it's really flying under the radar. They've won 6 in a row. Only Carolina, who's won 7 in a row. I don't mind that as a feel-good story.
Hey, look, how many years, guys, have you started this season going, well, one of them is going to break through. Is it going to be Detroit, Buffalo, or Ottawa. They're all on the cusp of breaking through. And who's going to do it and how many of them are going to do it? Well, the last 3 or 4 years when everybody said that, they're 0 for 12, right? So nobody's made it. This is the year that Ottawa makes it. And I've thought that all year long. Brady Tkachuk is one of the best leaders in the National Hockey League. There's zero question about that. The guy's a unicorn. We saw it at the Four Nations tournament. He's not even healthy right now, and he's absolutely carrying that team on his back. He's got lots of help. They've got depth. I love the ads at the trade deadline. But at the end of the day, it's all about Linus Ullmark. He has found his groove. He's back in that Vezina form over the last handful of games. He's going to almost single-handedly carry them into the playoffs. I don't know how far they can go. It's their first time in years. But, yeah, feel-good story. You damn right it is. They've gone through hell with ownership issues. They've gone through hell with all sorts of injuries. Josh Norris, who was like, they had such high expectations, always injured. They finally just traded him and got rid of it. I love it. I'll be cheering for him, especially if they play the Leafs. My God, the whole country would.
The fans hate their barn. It's like way out in the boonies.
It's a terrible barn. Yeah. The worst in the league.
Speaking of disaster, and you mentioned Buffalo won their Stanley Cup on the weekend because Jack Eichel came to town. They got a chance to boo him. And then on a dumb play by Nico Sturm, who has a chance at an empty netter to give Vegas a 4-2 win, tries to pass to Eichel, gets broken up. Buffalo eventually scores, wins the game in overtime, and they get a chance to boo Eichel again. So it's not all disaster if you're a Sabres fan. You got to boo your most hated. He's the heel of the Sabres. And I'm like, that may never get old. If you're a Buffalo fan, when Eichel comes to town, you're always going to get a chance to go off. I watched part of the Oiler-Ranger game yesterday. It's so funny. Leon Draisaitl, so good. McDavid. But if you're management of the Rangers, they've got so much talent and they're just so mid, as the kids call them. Like, for whatever reason, it just is not clicking this year.
Yeah, it's still shocking. They're better lately, but yeah, I'm looking at the standings. Man, is that ever fun to watch on a daily basis, that Eastern race? You squint hard enough, you could picture maybe 4 or 5 different teams squeaking in there. But yeah, that one's been a head scratcher for everyone all year long. Best goalie in the league? Wasn't he supposed to be? Isn't he the best goalie in the league? Well, this year he's not even top 15. Zibanejad disappeared for long stretches of the season. I got him in all my pools. I know, trust me. Trocheck's had a mid-season. There's so much talent there. I'm with you. Even Fox isn't doing what he usually used to do as a former Norris Trophy winner. So, yeah, puzzling to say the least. They have been a lot better of late, and, they're still not giving up on a playoff spot. I'll be fascinated to see how they play tomorrow night here in New York. But, puzzling and, perplexing, because I'm not sure they can really put their finger on why they've been so bad. I still don't have an answer for what the problem was.
I would like to see Montreal sneak in, Ottawa sneak in. I'm not the big Canada Stanley Cup guy. I just like the scrappy teams getting in. Yeah, and then you got Winnipeg, right? Which could this?
Are they going to win it? They're not going to win the cup, are they? No, they're not going to win the cup, are they?
We're going to the parade if they do, just cause.
Yeah.
We'll get that 24
I thought Saskatchewan
beer.
hated Manitoba.
No, we don't hate anybody.
Yeah. The Banjo Bowl, isn't that a whole thing?
Yeah, but why would we hate anyone? Like, you can't.
Hey,
because no one likes
Eric,
us here.
Hold on. In the very first segment of the show, Barney was talking about going out for drinks with your coworker on St. Patrick's Day so you could get into a fist fight with them later. So, yes, we do hate people, and you're completely right about the Banjo Bowl. Like, it's so...
Okay.
Why he's saying that, I don't know. But Eric. Gary Bettman won't let Winnipeg win the Stanley Cup. Gary will not let that happen.
You've gone out for drinks on St. Patrick's Day, and there's been people that you've wanted to fight. Let's be honest.
Yeah. It's been 2 or 3 years. I don't do it very regularly now. No, I'm just kidding. It's so funny. There's 2 ways people can go on St. Patty's Day, and 99% of them go like it's the happiest day of the year. They love it. but there's that 1% that are mucking about there, and they're usually the guy. They're usually from Ireland, and they're usually just so pissed off that everybody's pretending to be Irish, and he's like actually he's pissed off that people are like honoring him for some reason. It really bugs him. He hates the green beer. He wants to smash a green beer in some guy's face because he's drinking the wrong color. Like, it's an Irish guy. It's always an Irish guy. Am I wrong?
No, or it's the guy or girl that went and they've toured Ireland a couple of times, so they think they're Irish. And it's like,
okay, no, and all the other thing too, and on that guy or girl, there's the visible Celtic tattoo somewhere to prove that they are Irish and that they're ready to fight.
Well played.
Like it's either on the neck, on the forearm, maybe a bicep, but it's somewhere that you can see. And it's funny. We were talking about Conor McGregor being the most famous Irish guy. I think they didn't know that back in the day, but they were Conor McGregor because they're ready to throw down at any time.
That's right. I do think, to be fair to that angry Irish guy, someone speaking in a fake Irish accent is a punchable offense.
Yes.
I think it's in the criminal code. You're allowed to punch somebody who puts on a fake Irish accent. I don't actually. I got to double check that, but I think that's the law.
Okay. What can you mark it down in the book, Colson, just in case.
So one of the best. Speaking
different
of
in the
old
States.
radio
I don't know
stuff,
what the Constitution says.
Boston, it's okay.
So, speaking of old radio stuff, I remember it was a St. Patrick's Day, working at a radio station, and we had a guy on staff. His name was Pat Laporte. He was Irish, and he had red hair and everything. So for St. Patrick's Day, we took him out, and the whole thing is, if we came to your bar or restaurant, he was like the leprechaun, and we dressed him up. He would pay your bill. This thing was a hit. This was a runaway hit. Yeah, like if he came up to your table, blah, 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 happy St. Patrick's Day, and it, like full on, he had long red hair, and it's funny, you could get even drunker.
Pat,
and
what's Patty doing today?
He does all the sound effects for radio stations. He's a pretty good, he's an awesome dude. Drives a Dodge Charger, and he's not afraid to muck it up. Speaking of Irish guys not afraid to muck it up, not from Ireland, I think he's from Ponoka or something, Ponoka, Alberta, but not afraid to muck it up.
Yeah, Ponoka. You see those guys at the all-inclusives all the time. Yeah. Barbed wire.
You're messing with the wrong people that bring their own refillable cups to the all-inclusive vacations that they're on.
Yeah.
Their own plastic cups from home.
Good call. Good call. The big super gulp monster ones. Yeah. And it says something on there like, "Kiss me, I'm Irish," or "I like to party," or "Who farted,"
me,
or
dine
something.
me.
Just something really ridiculous.
And then just putting their big Canada towels. They want everyone to know. Okay, so here's the question I asked Maz at the beginning. It's what
those guys are usually from Quebec, just so you know, too. They're wearing the Speedos and everything.
They smoke up. They smoke upside down, and they have their socks on. Okay,
first time. Let's divide our country with all this commentary.
Very first time at an all-inclusive, I didn't realize the resort we're at had a bunch of French people at it, and what Eric just said there, 100% bang on. It was like, okay, we will be over here avoiding you. Oh, yes, they did.
I just saw it firsthand in Mexico like 3 weeks ago, and it's like it's not a meme. You wish it was, but it happens. It actually happened. And I was flying out of Montreal to go straight to Puerto Vallarta. So, of course, my plane is filled with them. And they all wanted to get that head start, let me tell you. And I guess I wanted to fight that fight too, sure.
What's the famous Irish athlete? When I asked Maz at the beginning of the show, when you think famous Irish athletes, who do you think? You're going to say the same guy as me, I think.
Jackie Stewart?
No.
From the Canadian Tire commercials. If you're under 40, you do have no idea what that reference is even about.
I thought you would say Rory McIlroy. That's what
yeah, sure, yeah. I guess Yeah, our golfers, athletes, that's next week's show. Like, we're going to debate our golfers, athletes. Christ. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Hey, listen, I got to tell you, I was in Ireland last summer for a boys' golf trip, one of the best trips ever. And I got the chance to go out. I wanted to see hurley. You know the hurley? You know what I'm talking about? Hurley? You know what that sport is?
Yeah.
They got
Isn't that when
basically
they
a
throw the
mallet. No, it's like a mallet, and it's kind of like lacrosse, but it's rougher and more ridiculous. But anyway, the national championships were on, and the team that lost, we ended up in the same bar as them that night in Dublin. And I have never been so fascinated to talk to athletes in my life. Like, that is, just Google it and look at it. It's pretty rough.
You got us to Google this before. Remember this? Like months ago. It was like Hurley.
Did I?
Yeah, it was really cool.
Hurley.
And I'm like, yeah, it's
anyway,
popper. Okay, well, go have fun. Get right after it tonight. Get some sort of Celtic tattoo. And then you don't owe me the beer. You show me a picture of something.
Okay, a permanent tattoo, and I'm out of it. I saved $30. Yeah. Oh, that's worth it. Yeah, that's worth it. I'll do it.
Yeah. Then text your wife right after with a picture of it.
Yeah. Kiss me, I'm Irish or something. I'll get something real clever on my arm. That'll be great. Thanks, boys.
See you later. Our NHL insider.
Top of the evening to you.
There's the accent. Jeez. Do that all night.
Yeah, terrible.
Do that all night.
Yeah, I'll be punched right out. See you, boys.
NHL insider Eric Francis for Southie Mainline. Chrysler, new king of trucks in Southie. 30 minutes north of Regina, worth the drive every time, guaranteed.
That's the social clip for old people that just discovered the internet. Jackie Stewart, that's the social clip right there.
The
double C's they're Googling who Jackie Stewart is.
What a life. He's gonna fly into New York, maybe watch the game.
Maybe. I love that. Maybe he's gonna maybe watch the game if it's on.
See, that's a place that St. Patrick's on a Monday, as we thought, would buzz.
Sure.
Yeah. Lots of fun. Eric Francis always. Right now at Southie Mainline, $260,000 off, total discounts on their 2024s, $2,000 to $16,000 off. Visit them online. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed to Southie. Break time coming back with the Clutch Performer on the Sportscage, streaming on X and on sportscage.com.
CoolBet has all the hot games. For all the free-to-play casino games, head to coolbet.co. They've got sports odds, including Saskatchewan senior hockey, plus all the sports odds you can think of. From the ice to the field to the court, CoolBet has you covered. All at your fingertips. No risk, just thrill. So why wait? Get in the game and embrace the unexpected at coolbet.co.
On the farm, dirt doesn't just get under your fingernails. It runs through your veins. Your equipment is just as tough. You bought it for its rugged dependability and efficient operation. To keep your machinery running as good as the day you bought it, you want genuine AGCO parts, fluids, and filters from Nick Service. Their friendly parts staff has what your equipment needs to keep it running at the top of its game. Keep it genuine at Nick Service, your local genuine AGCO parts headquarters.
Future Ford has been serving the Melville area for over 30 years. They've had some changes over the years, but the one thing they focus on is the future. Their staff are ready for what's to come. Ford tech is changing all the time, with new connected vehicle technology like EV, self-driving, and more. They are part of a large dealer group with access to hundreds of vehicles of all makes, so they can help you find yours. Check out their full inventory 24/7 and book a test drive today at www.futureford.ca. Get ready to drive into the future. Why? Because the future is Future Ford.
All the equipment and farmland you could need will be up for bid in the Ritchie Brothers 2025 Spring Ag Sales, starting March 19th, featuring over 55 farm auctions across Western Canada. These unique auctions are conducted entirely online, but equipment and property are always available for you to inspect during an in-person visit. Register today and get ready to bid on a variety of assets that include tractors, combines, sprayers, trucks, trailers, farmland, and more. Visit rbauction.com.
The Sportscage Clutch Performer for Nick's Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer. Call 781-1077.
All right, I know we're going to go around the horn here in the clutch performer for Nick's service. I will start locally. The U13 AA Regina Rebels. They're going to the provincial final. They won in the 4th overtime in Estevan on Saturday. They were grabbing Coke and chocolate bars and anything in between periods. It was like when the NHL, when they go deep, it's like, yeah, we had to order pizza and all that. 4th overtime, U13 AA Rebels onto the provincial final. And then yesterday, the U15 AA Rebels, so a division up, 5th overtime over Lumsden, going to the provincial final. Women's hockey is crazy. 4th overtime, 5th overtime. Congrats to the U13 and the U15 AA Rebels. Those are my clutch performers. Anyone? Colson?
Yeah, I'm keeping the trend of overtime going, apparently. Division 2 NCAA baseball. This is going to be a bit of a left field one, pun intended. Curtis, you can roll whenever.
Paint the picture for the fans.
Yeah, so you can hear the call, but Division 2 baseball game, 6-6. You'll hear the important part of this.
There's a fly ball. Left field, back at the track, and Ryan Manning has won it for the Warriors with a solo home run in the bottom of the 21st inning. The Warriors win the game on a walk-off home run by Ryan Manning.
So
7-6.
you heard that correctly,
ESU
bottom of the
Southern
21st inning, which is actually not the record. The record is 22 innings, but still, 21 innings is impressive, and if I read correctly, I believe that is his first home run of the year. So
no,
yeah, I could be wrong on that, entirely wrong on that. But
good find.
Clutch performer Ryan Manning solo home run after 21 innings. So
wow,
yeah.
Good find.
That's nuts.
No one else? Anybody else?
My clutch performer, and we mentioned this earlier. I'm gonna go on security guards at the Brand Center over the weekend, working the Jelly Roll concert. For whatever they're paying you, not enough, because you have your hands full from the start till the end. And there's just like, it's not. And the other thing too is, especially those guys that are, and gals that work up at the front of the stage where the crowd is pressed up against the barrier and you're pulling people out and somebody's always getting crushed up there and you're working it. And it's a thankless job. Thankless job.
It's a good one.
What about people who work in parking? Being a parking person too, when you're outside doing the flashlight thing and idiots and people are, no. It's like, no, you're going to go where the flashlight says you go. All right.
Part of me wants to see how they actually game plan, get people out of there. I think part of it is the procedure and what they're taught. And someone that comes up, I've been to a lot of packed places that get people out a lot better than here. Hot tip: just keep a vest in your vehicle, like a construction vest, and just get out there and start waving somebody in your vehicle. People will stop, then you just hop back in. Al,
I was going to do St. John's. They won the Big East tournament in the NCAA, the first time since 2000. So it's been 25 years. So
that's right. It's bracket challenge time.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm gonna have to fill out a bracket. I know nothing about college basketball. I don't know anyone in the world in my world that knows anything about college basketball that can fill out a bracket properly.
Me neither.
I was okay.
Don't lie, Alan.
Okay, I was okay initially, but not the second time. But I watch it regularly, so I would say I have a good chance.
Who are the 5 teams to bet on besides Florida?
Well, I was gonna say Duke, Auburn.
Never heard of them. Just kidding.
He's pulling your leg, Big Al.
Okay, Duke, Auburn.
Alabama's good, right?
I was say for Darian Durant, North Carolina. So
NC.
Like that.
Pandering to the guests. Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm blanking at 3.
How's Villanova this year? I just like their name.
I do not think that. I don't.
Maz, you said Alabama's good.
Oh yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, I think they won the SEC or were in the title game. Tennessee is also good, I think, at basketball. Yeah, it's funny.
UConn, Kentucky. Those guys are always good. Arizona sometimes. Gonzaga.
Yeah.
I think
Gonzaga, it's always
basketball.
No, they've been good on the men's side too.
They've been good on the men's too, but they're dominant in the women's.
Gonzaga's they're the eternal. They're the Winnipeg Jets. They are the eternal. We'll cheer for you, but we're going to break your heart somewhere along the way. We're going to get close, but we're never going to close it out, and we will break your heart.
Here's a funny story about UConn. When I was like in grade 7, maybe 8, I don't know, I would always hear March Madness and UConn and all that. I legit thought UConn, the territory, was in March Madness. I was like, that's weird. Like, why are they so into basketball up there? What a pidge. Okay, I got one more, too. I got to go back to Fort Knox and the Regina Capitals, who play tonight at 7:30, Game 2. River Banks. His debut album was amazing. He scored a hat trick for Fort Knox in the 5-3 win. What a handle and a hat trick. Game 2 tonight, 7:30. Those are our clutch performers for Nick Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson, Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. You can call them at 781-1077. I
was going to say, speaking of generational talent, hey, how about Gavin McKenna having 7 points on the weekend for the Medicine Hat Tigers in one game? Is there any chance that he's not the number 1 pick next year in the NHL draft? Wow. He's so good. He is so good.
Oh, Craig in Yorkton on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. Former radio guy. Probably gave Don Scott a lot of money along the way. He says, from the perspective of a former play-by-play guy, that he does follow when Benny says moving from radio right to left. So, all right. Thanks for the text, Craig. And then Paul texted in. Oh, yeah, I wanted to give this a show. This is a good tie-in to Clutch Performer. Thanks, Paul. U of S women's basketball team won the national championship. U of S Huskies, national champs over the Carleton Ravens. It's quite the feat. For years, women's basketball, actually basketball in general at the U of S has not been a thing. So men have been good in the last few years a couple times, and congrats to the U of S women's national champs. Let's go to a quick break. Don't forget, we're giving away tickets to the Farmer Appreciation Night Pats Broncos game tomorrow night. The beauty part is you get entry into the tailgate party. It starts at 4 o'clock or in around there. Hell and Back AC/DC Tribute Band is playing thanks to Thunderstruck Egg Equipment, and Canada's Farm Show starts tomorrow. 936-6262 if you want those. Colson says we have 4. Break time. It's the Sports Cage, streaming on X and at sportscage.com.
So, since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know. That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
All the equipment and farmland you could need will be up for bid in the Ritchie Brothers 2025 Spring Ag Sales, starting March 19th, featuring over 55 farm auctions across Western Canada. These unique auctions are conducted entirely online, but equipment and property are always available for you to inspect during an in-person visit. Register today and get ready to bid on a variety of assets that include tractors, combines, sprayers, trucks, trailers, farmland, and more. Visit rbauction.com.
For everything hockey, head to Extreme Hockey and Sport. Spring hockey is around the corner. Get fitted to your specs with the best team at Extreme Hockey. Be sure to check out Umbrella Marketing and Tarrington and his team for all your team, corporate, and business needs. Corporate or work event? Check out our custom Yeti and engraving options. Make any occasion a special one. Extreme Hockey and Sport, 1425 McIntyre Street, and the Pro Shop conveniently located at the Cooperator Center.
Welcome back to Sports Cage. Connect with the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262.
So Maz, I got word on the weekend that our Mr. X, that's what we want to call him in Sasky here, that wanted to take a run at CFL, being a CFL commissioner. basically got the Heisman. No
got
go.
the high hard one.
Yeah, so he
really, they wouldn't even talk to him. That's crazy.
Kind of. I'm trying to figure out a word that I could use here without getting canceled. But yeah, so he was a business guy. He's a money guy, passionate for the league, passionate for football. Had a very clear, and so this is where it becomes loose. And I know there's a lot of people out there because it's easy to say, oh, we got plans for expansion. Yeah, well, I think that's what Ambrosi didn't he have real plans for expansion? And then it was like, it'll balance itself. People believe that too. But
here's the thing that's nuts about the CFL. You have stadiums you can't even fill right now. All right? Mosaic's one of them. In Calgary, good luck trying to get 10,000 fans a game this year. And you want to expand the league? Fix what you have.
Nobody's
going.
That was the beauty of what he was thinking. Because this is where I kind of, hey, and you've been in industries that you got to think, okay, now the game has changed. So maybe, has anyone thought that 10 to 15,000 people is the new norm in a lot of places? Has anyone thought that? Because that is a real possibility. So now how are you bringing in other revenue sources? TV deal. Right off the start, TV deal, because it's so comfortable, just like the NFL, for people to stay at home and watch sporting events now. The Masters is coming up in a few weeks. Is there a better weekend of doing absolutely nothing if you're a golf fan and you have the ability to maybe sprinkle than just watching golf? It's unbelievable. Trying to go to the Masters, yeah, the course like Augusta would be fantastic. But after one day of walking around, you're not seeing anything. You're not getting in on 18 when they're coming up to finish it off. So just the TV deal. Then the streaming partner. All right. Well, that's easy to say, but there has to be a plan there. What is in it for the streaming partner? What is in it for them? How do you tie gambling to everything? Because wake up. That every sporting league in the world, remember when the NHL was so anti-gambling in the NFL? And now they are in bed, making breakfast, doing whatever they can to get gambling dollars. Because that is, and you look at other leagues, you look at soccer. Soccer is the most bet on sport in the world. Like, sports books make all their money for the most part on soccer, the big ones. Like, hockey is a drop in the bucket.
Drop in the bucket. Yeah.
Absolute peanuts. Soccer. And then, like, I know I laugh about it once in a while. Like, I was on Cool Bet. Like, you got some of these sports. Where is it here? Premier League. Boom. Right there. I love the senior hockey stuff and all that they have. But they'll have, like, cricket. And then basketball from every country in the world. So his plan was different revenue sources. Then the Ticketmaster thing, that every team $1 million right off the hop. Now, like I said, I didn't dissect everything. He didn't send me everything, nor should my eyeballs have seen everything. I get it. But there was some real interesting, this is a different way to look at it. So the message I get, and I'll kind of preface it, but they're really focused on getting a media executive as their next commissioner. They're not thinking beyond the media deal. They're not considering anyone else. Basically, when you read, the owners just want a puppet.
But so the last thing you need is a guy that's coming from, let's say, a Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, where you live in a bubble because you've got a strong brand, and if you fail, it doesn't matter. There's enough money in the bank account where it really doesn't affect you.
Yep.
Where somebody who's pushing all their chips in to go, we don't have a plan B. This has to work. Like, didn't we just get rid of that? Like I said, we wanted to, or just or shut up to be like, we're good how it is. Keep her going. Don't touch anything. We'll take what we can get and zip it.
Isn't this if this one stays the same and we basically stay status quo? I'm putting it on the owners because you had a chance to do something different in 2025. Yes. Make a change. You know how long COVID was now? Like, it is baffling to think how long ago COVID. So using the COVID crutch, I don't know if you can go there. But I think we got to put this back on the owners. It's like a lot of times, and this is just my brain again, when people complain about someone that gets, a sentence for murdering someone while drunk driving, and they get like the slap on the wrist. Are we ever going to hold the judges accountable to that? Like, that's the accountability, isn't it? Like, get their name out there. Put it in lights, because that lawyer did a heck of a job doing, so it's like, this could be the owner's issue here. And if they want a puppet, what's going to change? You're going to get a big TV deal. Nate, if I went to my golf course and went around the table of 30 guys and said, who here has a cable subscription in our demographic? It would be less than half for sure. You got to get streaming. What are you doing with streaming?
Here's the thing. Rogers doesn't even barely show any highlights when CFL is on in their sports center or sports net, whatever their sports center is called. They rarely do. So you have Bell, who has TSN. If they decide to opt out, who else do you have? Nobody. Here's the thing. If you want status quo, just keep it exactly as it is. But stop talking about growing. You need to grow. No. Because if you're not willing to do it, like you're saying, this is your perfect opportunity. If Randy wasn't cutting it anymore, here's a chance for a fresh voice. The world has changed.
You need a 10th team. Like, make it happen. We're not sending someone to Pluto to live. Get a 10th team. Figure out a way to do it by only selling 10 to 15,000 seats. It's not impossible. I can pick up my phone and literally call Dubai right now. You mean to tell me we can't get it? Like, the things that we do technology-wise now, it's not that difficult. It's just they're not changing. It's not changing. You're saying Calgary? Are they just going to get a massive influx of Stamps fans this year? What are you doing with new Canadians? No. You got to get they got to get those kids playing the football. You got to get them logos, everything. They got to buy in. You have to. It's 2025. It is not even 2015. It's not 2010. Different world.
But you said right here, this right here, there's more options now than ever before to distract you. But I said, if you want sports, you don't need to go anywhere. You just turn this on, and then when you get bored, you turn it off, and you go to something else. To think that you're going to have somebody for 3 hours live multiple times a year, it's nuts. It's too bad. Now, once again, run down this story. Is this somebody that you know, or somebody that just reached out and said, hey, I'm throwing my name in for commissioner. Here's a couple of my ideas.
I don't know him any more than I know Alan.
We love the sheriff.
Well, I know the sheriff, but we're on a need-to-know basis, and he tells me that.
Okay, so this isn't a business colleague. This isn't a friend. This isn't a buddy. This is somebody that said, hey, I have some ideas.
Maybe business business colleague. Maybe.
Okay.
But I got like 8 jobs, so that doesn't really narrow it down. We got a break. Darian Durant's. Maybe we'll talk commissioner stuff with Darian Durant.
It's a lot of people to fight at the bar on St. Patrick's Day if you have 8 jobs. Colson, Curtis, tape those knuckles. Barney's going to be busy later.
It's a sports cage on St. Patrick's Day. We're having green beer. Have one for us. Get rowdy. Use your Irish accent. Sports cage on 620 CKRM.
All the equipment and farmland you could need will be up for bid in the Ritchie Brothers 2025 Spring Ag Sales, starting March 19th, featuring over 55 farm auctions across Western Canada. These unique auctions are conducted entirely online, but equipment and property are always available for you to inspect during an in-person visit. Register today and get ready to bid on a variety of assets that include tractors, combines, sprayers, trucks, trailers, farmland, and more. Visit rbauction.com.
From the towers to the tractors, country's greatest hits. 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. It's cloudy and it's -6 in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the sasktoday.ca newsroom with 620 CKRM News for Echo Sound and Fort Qu'Appelle. Stay connected with a new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. Saskatchewan's opposition NDP says it'll pressure Premier Scott Moe's government to put Canada first as politicians return for the spring legislative sitting during a turbulent trade war with the U.S. NDP leader Carla Beck says her party plans to introduce an emergency motion this week that calls on legislators to condemn President Donald Trump for proposing to annex Canada and imposing tariffs on Canadian goods. She says Moe needs to stand up to Trump.
My message to Scott Moe and the Sask Party is what we have seen from you so far simply isn't good enough. It's time for leaders to step up, loudly and proudly.
Trump has slapped 25% tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum and plans to apply additional levies next month. The federal government has retaliated with 25% tariffs on U.S. goods worth roughly $30 billion. Regina police have charged 2 men in connection with 3 robberies at local businesses. Officers say a suspect stole items and threatened employees with a knife or baton in incidents on January 26th, January 29th, and February 24th. After investigating, police arrested a 21-year-old man and a 41-year-old man. The 21-year-old suspect faces multiple robbery and weapons charges, while the 41-year-old is charged in one of the incidents. Both men have made their first court appearances. The investigation is ongoing. The Saskatchewan ICE unit is seeing record high reports of child exploitation online. Cases have risen yearly, with 1,317 expected in 2025. Investigators say technology has made it easier for offenders to access harmful content. ICE officers are educating families on online safety, urging parents to discuss risks with kids and keep digital devices in open areas. They remind parents that predators can be anywhere, targeting children through apps and social media. Suspicious activity should be reported to local police or to cybertip.ca. A major highway upgrade is now underway in Moose Jaw. The Ministry of Highways says work has started on the Main Street North Bridge over Highway Number 1. The $33.7 million project will rebuild and raise the Highway 2 overpasses. PCL Construction is leading the work, which was set to begin in April and finish by fall of 2026. Drivers should expect lane closures and delays. Officials ask motorists to slow down and follow all signs to keep workers and themselves safe. And Prime Minister Mark Carney has wrapped up a quick meeting with European leaders in France and in the United Kingdom. The Prime Minister says his first foreign visit was about security and Ukraine and not about Canada's trade relationship with the United States. Carney was asked if UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer made any comments about US President Donald Trump's insistence that Canada becomes the 51st state.
We don't need another country to validate our sovereignty. We are sovereign. We don't need praise from another country. We are proud in and of ourselves.
In addition to meeting with the British Prime Minister, Carney also met with King Charles and French President Emmanuel Macron. It's 5:03, and that's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Come join an unforgettable evening at the Regina Red Sox Dinner and Auction on Saturday, April 26th at the Turvey Center. This year's special guest will be Saskatchewan Roughriders head coach Corey Mace and offensive coordinator Mark Mueller. Pre-dinner drinks will start at 6 p.m. and dinners at 7. And don't forget the live and silent auction. Tickets are available at reginaredsox.com. Get your tickets now for the Regina Red Sox Dinner and Auction Saturday, April 26th. And support Regina Red Sox baseball. Presented by Dusick & Barlow Insurance at SGI Canada. Play ball!
Oh, finally. There it is.
Whoa, did you order pizza?
No, even better. I called Echo Sound, your Sasktel authorized dealer.
Oh, so what'd you order?
Well, they have all the top-of-the-line smartphones with all the latest features. And so many great plans, man.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it is the pizza guy. Hey, guy.
Tell him to go away. We're waiting on Echo Sound.
Echo Sound, your Sasktel authorized dealer in Fort Qu'Appelle. EchoSound.ca.
We'll still take the pizza, though.
I'm Corey Atkinson with your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast, brought to you by Linex Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street. Now here's Precision Weather meteorologist Steve Adamson.
The countdown is on to the official arrival of spring, which will come in early Thursday morning, just after 3 a.m., with the spring equinox occurring at that point. So far, we don't see any signs of any real nice spring weather in the forecast for us. As we progress into tonight, lingering cloudiness around, the low temperature near -12. Tuesday, mostly cloudy skies, possibly a passing flurry in spots during the afternoon. The high near -3, 30% chance for flurries. For Tuesday night, skies will be seeing clearing conditions about the region, the low temperature near -11. Wednesday, a mostly sunny day, the high temperature around -1. Cloudiness increasing for Thursday with the high near 0. Friday, some in and out sun through cloudiness, the high temperature near -3. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather Meteorologist Steve Adamson.
Across the province at this hour, Saskatoon is -5, Swift Current is 0, Assiniboia -2, Broadview Moosomin -7, Yorkton Melville -8, Estevan -3, and Weyburn is -4. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's cloudy, winds are from the northwest at 9, and it's -4. Regina is also cloudy, winds are from the southwest at 8, and it's -6. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to our daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
There's market uncertainty, and it could cost you. New U.S. trade policies are driving up the price of equipment, parts, and essential supplies. Canadian farmers are left wondering, what's next? At Canada's Farm Show Regina, presented by Viterra, at the Real District, we bring the experts to the table with elbows up, U.S. politics and Canadian ag. This is your chance to hear from industry leaders breaking down what fast-changing and unstable markets mean for your farm and what to watch for next. Tickets at Canada's Farm Show, reginask.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Kellen Solar, installing solar in residential and commercial buildings for 35 years. Local and trusted. Kellen Solar. Visit kellensolar.com. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
It's been a busy one on this St. Patrick's Day. If you're going out celebrating on the Monday, though, tough one. It's Maz with me, CNC, and the Sheriff. I'm wearing green today. Colson's wearing green. Why not? Why not? We ran down a busy weekend, local hockey. There's some local hockey this evening that we'll get to in a bit. It's an exciting time of the year, but it's time of the week. We only get to talk to him once. Darian Durant time.
Time for Double Talk with Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Darian Durant. Double Talk is brought to you by Campbell Safety Consulting. At Campbell Safety Consulting, we work towards helping companies create a competitive edge by executing a proactive health and safety program.
It is for Campbell Safety Consulting. I got to tell you, Darian, he can't wait to meet you. New sponsor of the feature, Jeff Campbell. Says, I can't wait to meet that Darian guy. He's already got some action off the sponsorship, too. So it's nice to hear if does your workplace have a proper safety program. If not, you call Campbell Safety Consulting. Okay, so let's start at St. Patrick's Day. Like, you go back to your college days, your playing days. Like, was that a day that, the college days, you guys must have got after it?
Of course. I mean, when you're young and you can down a few brews, then of course, man, it's always good to be alive and well on St. Patrick's. So I have a lot of good memories with the boys, just chugging a lug and downing those brews, man. That's what it's all about.
So when you were at North Carolina in college, so were you part of a fraternity as well, or where did you live, or did the athletes all hang out? Like, how did that work? Like, did you have the best of both worlds, like sports and fraternity? Because that would have been, I'm surprised you're alive if you did both of those.
No, you know what? Growing up, I actually wanted to join a fraternity, but once I got to college, I realized that there just wasn't enough time for me. Being a quarterback, and we put in a lot more time than the other guys, so I just didn't have the time. But the first 2 years, and I'm not sure if it's like this anymore now that these guys are millionaires at 17, 18 years old walking onto campus. But your first 2 years, you stayed on campus. You're in the dorm just like, any regular student. And we were in a freshman dorm, so we were able to enjoy the life of just a regular student. All of it just wasn't athletes in our dorm. It was any and everybody. It was co-ed as well. So we were able to just experience. Yeah, it was nuts. It was just something that blew my mind. you notice I said that pretty fast and kept going, right? So, but it was definitely an experience and a shock for me going into that environment. So first 2 years you're in dorms with all the other kids, and then you get a chance to go and enjoy a little bit more of an adult life. You go get an apartment, and you now can pay some bills, and they kind of transition you slowly into becoming an adult.
So when we went to that game this past year in Tuscaloosa, that massive Alabama-Georgia game early in the season, Buddy and I drove from Nashville. That camp, I've been to some campuses, but that Tuscaloosa thing was off the charts. Mind you, it was a huge game. And you sit in the fraternity houses, the sororities, like these things are, you can tell there's no shortage of money, right? And then so Buddy and I are sitting there talking after the game. We're like, I can't even imagine playing football here. Like, look around like this. And you are the guy in front of those 90-some thousand people that game. Then we're listening to the post-game show after. And the coach was on, and they kind of alluded to like big pressure, now what, the guy, and he basically was talking about, how these kids, they play video games. Like, it's not what you think anymore. And then you hear that in the NHL. Yeah. Isn't that crazy, Darian? Like, just the different generations.
Yeah, it is. I mean, for these guys, this is a more tech, guys are more involved with this AI stuff and tech and video games. You can play on your PC now, your handhelds, your phone. Just technology is just different. And, when it comes to courting and being able to meet people, you can just do that from your phone. You don't have to have the ability to talk to people and to communicate with them. You can just pick up your phone and send a text message. So it's just different for this generation. Whereas, with my generation, we actually had to communicate. We had to walk up to women and introduce yourself and be able to, you had to talk to them. So it's just a lot different, man. And I think that's what keeps these kids young a little bit longer, because they're still doing these kid things as they, get up there in age.
I wonder if, and I'm not sure if Luke's listening, if he wants to call in, I wonder what St. Patrick's Day at Michigan State was like.
Oof.
I'm assuming it was probably a train wreck. You'd have to think that it's all out the window.
I could only imagine, exactly what went on a campus like that. I mean, North Carolina, we had about 30,000 students, but Michigan State has around 50,000. So I couldn't imagine, basically two campuses in one, and the fun times they had there. I know it was amazing.
Big potluck, St. Patrick's Day potluck.
Yeah,
with Luke. He loves loves talking food. Hey, Alan said here, as a North Carolina guy, like March Madness, North Carolina, could they do some damage here? What do you know about their basketball team?
You know what? I've been keeping up with them a little bit here lately as it gets later on in the season. I don't really follow too much, during the season. But as we approach March Madness, I think we have a chance. I don't know how good we are if we'll get to that Final Four level, but I think we have a chance the first couple rounds to make some noise. We had a heartbreaking loss to Duke this past weekend in the ACC in the ACC tournament. Sorry, that was horrible, man. And anytime you lose to Duke, it makes it twice as worse, right? So, but I think if we can just get in there and play together, and you see so many Cinderella teams make noise around March Madness time, right? So if we can be one of those teams to get hot and play some good basketball this time of year, we could definitely make some noise.
I saw that on the weekend. So I don't know the player, the guy he had braids. Last year he had missed a free throw or something, and they ended up losing out. And this year, same thing. He fouled. He put his foot in the paint on a free throw. The guy sunk it, which would have tied the game, called off, and there's 3 seconds left or whatever, and you see him on the bench and he's in tears. But then the coach had him in the post-game presser saying, like, listen, he's not the reason we lost. Like, we're a team. You got to feel bad. That's two. You guys seem like you're good fans, but I don't know if you're ready to give this guy a third chance to wreck it all for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, that's tough, man. I mean, these are still kids. We have to remember that. I mean, even though they look like grown men at this stage in their lives, they're still kids. And so you have to have some, a soft spot in your heart for that, man, because it's tough to deal with.
It's Double Talk with Darian Durant, brought to you by Campbell Safety Consulting. So it's Combine Week here, and it's here in Regina. Put your coaching hat on if you're a manager. What would you be going into the CFL Combine and looking for, Darian?
I guess the main thing you want to see is if what you see on film matches the numbers, right? So, you've seen these guys for years and, the plays they've made and how they look with pads on. But now it's time to take the pads off and see them sized up against their peers and see if they can really, really, run as fast as it looks on film, or if they can jump, or if they're explosive. So I think, you're pretty much aware of their ability on the field, but now you want to see where they stack up against their peers and if these guys are really as athletic as they look, or is the competition that bad. So I think the Combine can really give you an idea of that, the true athleticism of some of these guys, especially the skill position, because, with O-linemen, it's kind of hard to get in a combine situation, O-line and D-line, and really see what they can do. But, when you get into the skill position, your receivers, your DBs, your running backs, now you can time them, see, how explosive they are with their broad jumps, their vertical jumps, different things like that. Now you can really match them up with the other guys.
Okay, since you've been through this process and you've talked to a lot of general managers in football along the way, what's the one question or questions, if there was a couple, that maybe either messed you up or really made you think, or one that really, when they come at you in the interview process, to be like, whoa. Because now everybody talks about it's the character. It's forget the on the field, but what are you like as a person? What's one that used to put you in a pretzel?
Well, I think it's more so the X's and O's. I mean, when you get in there and they read a play to, I'm not sure if you guys saw Hard Knocks, and when Brian Daboll was asking Jaden Daniels, he read a play to him, and he wanted Jaden Daniels to repeat that play immediately and then go on the board and, draw up the routes and everything that they talk about. So the hardest thing for me was just taking the terminology that I learned in college for 4 years and then hearing this play from a coach and then having to recite that back and go on the board and draw that play up and tell him what you'll do against each coverage. That's hard for a quarterback, man, because your vocabulary and what you're used to hearing is nothing compared to what he's giving you. So that's kind of the trickeration that goes on with backs. And I think for other guys, coaches want to see how much you love the game. I mean, there's so many talented guys that don't love the game, that don't have passion, that don't go all out each and every play. And, they just play football because they're physically talented, right? But you want a guy who lives, breathes, eats, sleeps football, who just loves football inside and out. So I think this interviewing process gives coaches and GMs a great idea of who really loves football or who's just playing it because they're talented. Because, when you do that, you can easily see that, man, maybe this guy won't be a 5 or 6 year guy for us. Maybe we can get 1 or 2 years out of him. GMs and coaches can really be able to tell that from one interview for sure.
Because you want to see you want to see them in pressure, right? You want to see them sweat a bit.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what it's all about. You want to see, if it's the fourth quarter, if the crowd is loud, if you're tired, if you just took a big hit, can you remember the play? Can you recite the play? And not only that, can you go on the board and draw the play or in the game and see these coverages and be able to make the right decision? So, you really don't put a lot on it when it's, going on in the interviewing room, but these things definitely transfer over to the field.
Do you think a lot of guys can do themselves in the interview process?
I think so, man. I mean, a lot of guys are nervous. Look, you're nervous, man. I mean, especially for guys who, you may grow up in a CFL town and you're meeting with Jeremy O'Day, who, is the GM of your childhood dream to, play for this team. So it could be challenging and it could be nerve-wracking. So if you don't have the right answers or you don't have the right attitude, you can definitely do yourself in and hurt yourself more than you can help. So my best advice is just to try to be as relaxed as possible and make sure you come off as a guy that loves the game, that you'll do anything for the game, that, it doesn't matter your contract. You'll sit on the practice squad for a year or two, or you'll do whatever it takes to make the team. Those are the guys that GMs look for.
Is it such a fine line in this day and age, Darian, where the players, they're all playing football all season long. They're all training in these academies or at these camps. Is it such a fine line athletic and skill-wise that there's so many other things that come into play?
Yeah, for sure. And you'll see once you get into these combine environments that the numbers may be similar for a large number of these guys, but what's going to separate them is their passion, their ability to go on the board and recite plays, their ability to know coverages, basically what you can't teach, which is from the head up. All your athletic ability you have, but you want to see the guys that can retain information, who are smart football players, and like I said, guys who have that passion. So, you definitely want to come across as if you love the game, and then nothing else matters. That's what GMs want to see.
Was there how much more was it more difficult your playbook running your offense in the CFL than college? Is there such a large gap there from a college playbook to a CFL?
For sure. I mean, in college, you're 18, 19, 20 years old. You're still raw, so to speak, to the game. As much experience as you think you have, you're still a young man. But when you get to the pro level and, you have a 10-year vet and he's, 31 years old, 32 years old, he understands the game. So the verbiage will be different. It's more sophisticated. It's more complex systems. It's, And a lot of times it really depends on the guy as well, because some guys can't retain information like others. Some guys may be better off having an entire play be 3 words, where another guy is okay with an entire play being 12 words. So, when you get to that pro level, you definitely see the complexity is different. And you're dealing with grown men and whose brains are, fully developed. Because when you're in college, you're still teaching the 17-year-old freshman quarterback who's coming in, right? So you have to be able to explain things to him so that he understands.
Would there ever be a point where you were, when you were a veteran in the CFL and starting to go, where you'd be able to kind of say, okay, we used to run this play at North Carolina, or I used to run this play back in high school and do like a variation off it? Like, would they take, your insight and your, previous favorite plays and massage those?
For sure. I mean, look, you'll have some stubborn coaches who could care less. and they're just going to call their offense, and they don't care what you've ran, what you're comfortable with. And you don't see that a lot anymore because now, these coaches' jobs are tied to these players, right? So they want to make sure that they implement an offense that's familiar for the guys and they understand. But, some time ago, it didn't matter. But, for me, for example, I would see a play, in practice or something, and I say to myself, okay, so that's the old bingo that I ran in college, or that's the old dagger that I ran in college. So I would take a play and for my sake, just, revert back to my college days because it would help me process it better. And also it would help me. I already knew the reads. I could say, okay, I'll read it like dagger or I'll read it like Bronco. And that made it much easier for me.
Since a playbook's complicated, and there's lots of them, when a guy runs the wrong route or doesn't know the play, when they come back to the huddle, do you say something? Do you laugh to be like, what was that? Like, what game are you playing? Like, does it just go, is it an unspoken rule? Because no matter what,
depends.
Sometimes you got to call out a coworker when they do something stupid.
Yeah, it depends. Now, if you're a guy that doesn't make many mistakes at all, then I won't say a word. I mean, because we all, have brain farts from time to time. But if you're a guy who, consistently you have to tell over and over what to do, or they're always forgetting routes or forgetting plays, then yeah, I'm pissed off and I'm cursing. And I was never a guy to hold my tongue. I would throw out all the MFs and every curse word you could think of because, But in the pros, man, when you mess up, no one knows from the stands who messes up or what went wrong on a play.
Yeah.
And
just looks bad on you.
Exactly. And not only that, it could cost you a game, and it could be a playoff seeding game or something that's very important, and then you lose your job. So there's very little room for errors at the pro level, and a lot of coaches they don't tolerate it at all.
Because next thing you know, somebody from the stands is yelling at you how much money you make and that they're sick and tired of paying your salary if you're going to be throwing interceptions. But you can't say, dude ran the wrong road. It's not my fault.
And you would never say that to the media as well, right? You would never throw anybody under the bus. That's just an unspoken, unwritten rule for the quarterback. Never throw your guys under the bus, and you take the blame at all times.
We all gotta be on the same page. That's code. Someone being a buffoon and not running the right route. That's really, really good, cool insight. Speaking of nuts, do you have any insight? What's going to happen NFL here? Is everyone waiting for Aaron Rodgers? Are we waiting for Pittsburgh, do you think? What are we waiting for? Because I'm sure Russell Wilson would like to get a deal done, maybe New York.
Yeah, I'm thinking that, Russ is pretty much waiting on Aaron Rodgers. Russ is familiar with Pittsburgh, right? He just was there, took them to the playoffs. So I'm thinking if Aaron Rodgers decides not to go to Pittsburgh, then I think it's a no-brainer for the Steelers to sign Russell Wilson and kind of continue to build what they started last year. But if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I look at DK Metcalf and I look at, the receivers that Pittsburgh has and just the tradition, the fans. They'll welcome him with open arms there. They're desperate to make it out of the first round of the playoffs. So if I'm him, I'm thinking that, even though the Giants have some talent, they do have Malik Neighbors, and they seem to be going all out and trying to put a good team, around whoever's there. I think Pittsburgh will be the better situation for Aaron Rodgers.
Are we not talking about Minnesota anymore then? Like that's not an option, you don't think?
I think it is. But for Aaron Rodgers, it really depends on how many years does he want to play. And I think when you walk into the door with the Vikings, you know that J.J. McCarthy's there. You know that they're looking at him to be the next guy. So you may be one and done there. But if you look at Pittsburgh and you look at the Giants, who's the next guy? The Giants may draft a quarterback in Cam Ward early in the draft or Shedeur Sanders, but there's nobody in the wakes in Pittsburgh. So if I'm Aaron Rodgers and I know I have at least 2 years left in me, then I don't want to be in a situation with a rookie quarterback.
Speaking of receivers, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase got paid today. Just some astronomical money for the Bengals. But here's the thing, and I like Joe Burrow. I like the Bengals. They can't start next season 0-4 and 0-5 just to have heartache and pain all season. These guys, they're all getting paid now. Is it time? Now you got to put up, shut up. Everybody's got a nice fat paycheck. Got to go win some football games. Got to make the playoffs. Got to make a push at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think what hurt them last year was just Jamar Chase holding out from training camp, having contract problems and not being able to get that settled. T. Higgins as well. But now that these guys are secure, I think they'll have a hell of an offseason. I think they'll come to camp ready to go. And, I mean, look, Cincinnati, if they're going to win, they're going to win in a shootout. You know, they can't stop anybody. Can't stop a nosebleed like my guy Bart Scott said back in the day. But, you know, so it's all about that offense, right? Their three biggest, guys against the salary cap are the quarterback and two receivers. So it's all about offense with them. They're going into the season feeling like they're going to go into shootouts every game. And, I think with a good training camp under their belt, everyone in the house, everyone being able to day in and day out build that chemistry that's needed, I really think that they could start the season hot. Joe Burrow's a guy that can sling it, man. So, if they can build that chemistry and try to get to a point where they can score 30 to 40 points a game, then you give yourself a chance.
It's too bad they got to play in the same division as Buffalo. Oh, and they're in the same division as Kansas City.
Yeah, I know. And Baltimore. You can't forget about those guys.
Don't forget about Baltimore.
Yeah.
What about Cleveland? Are we just...
Man, I was watching Cleveland. They had, I think, the top 10 worst free agent signings in Browns history. And, oh, man, it's just a terrible situation.
They only did 10? That list could have gone on forever.
I was going to say it could be the top 10 free agent signings in NFL history, and the Cleveland Browns are going to own most of that.
I know. That's what they should have done, man. It's just been, I don't know. Whoever's in charge there, they just need to just clean house and just start all over, man.
Exactly.
One Cleveland Brown nightmare rider-related story. Remember the quarterback Tim Couch? He played for Cleveland. He was a first-round draft pick. He was going to be a savior. Never worked out. He ended. Maybe this is when you were playing. He ended up in the CFL playing for the Argos, and he threw some long bomb touchdown, and I think beat us. And I'm like, how? How do we keep giving these guys in their first game ever? And we ended up losing. I don't know if the double C's can look that up, but I remember Tim Couch played for the Argos, and there some sort of long bomb, and I think we ended up losing because of that.
I do not remember him playing in the CFL.
I don't either.
Oh, he did. He had a cup of coffee. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Right on,
I don't
Darian.
remember Johnny Manziel. I don't remember Johnny Manziel in the CFL. Now, were you in Montreal when Manziel was there?
No. I was still in SAS, but I do remember that. And he went to Hamilton as well. You don't remember that?
Yeah. I remember Hamilton. I just, for whatever reason, don't remember him in Montreal.
Oh, yeah.
I love Johnny. I love Johnny football.
Man.
He's awesome.
If you go check out the, I think it's Club Shay Shay with Johnny Manziel. He had some good stories about his time in Montreal, man. So I highly recommend you guys checking that
out. Co-ed dorm style. All right, Darian. St. Patty's Day. Go have a good time, and we'll catch up again on Monday.
Sounds good, man. Thanks, guys.
Right on.
That
is Double Talk with Darian Durant for Campbell Safety Consulting. If you got harassment in the workplace, it's a big deal these days. Not a lot of companies know how to handle it correctly. Call Campbell Safety Consulting. They can help you out. Let's go to break. Colson's saying we got a break. And we'll come back, run down the night. What's happening? Maybe we'll get back into our CFL commissioner talk. It's the Sports Cage on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
All the equipment and farmland you could need will be up for bid in the Ritchie Brothers 2025 Spring Ag Sales, starting March 19th, featuring over 55 farm auctions across Western Canada. These unique auctions are conducted entirely online, but equipment and property are always available for you to inspect during an in-person visit. Register today and get ready to bid on a variety of assets that include tractors, combines, sprayers, trucks, trailers, farmland, and more. Visit rbauction.com.
Sask Lotteries has 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Help us grow the next 50. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
The folks at Freeze Tallman want to talk about upgrading your windows and doors. They want to talk about modernizing your home and saving you money every heating and cooling bill. They want to talk about Geldwen windows and doors and how from now until March 21st, you can save 15% off select Geldwen products. Only purchased through Freeze Tallman. Keep the conversation going. Head to Freeze Tallman today in Regina and Fort Capel.
Freeze Tallman. Let's get you building.
This is Sportscage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back for Kellen Solar in Lumsden on this Friday. The sheriff, nothing gets by the sheriff when he's in. It wasn't. It wasn't Tim.
I got to apologize. No, I got to apologize. We just Wikipedia'd. It's not Eric Church either. It's Eric Crouch. Eric Crouch. What? Eric Church has got a new song coming out. I got an email today, like on Friday. He's been too weird lately, too political. Like he's been so far out of the atmosphere.
Pot calling the kettle black.
Whatever. Have you been on your Facebook page lately? At least I don't post anything because you can't now. Like people just.
Hey, give him a tug. Post something.
He played for the Argos 2006, 2007. Eric Crouch. Eric Eugene Crouch. Or November 16th, 1978. Went to Nebraska.
That was like Tim Couch. How did I miss that? And he threw a long bomb against the Riders? Did not.
No, Eric Crouch did.
Okay, there we go.
Eric Crouch did.
Okay, locally tonight, hockey at the Al Ritchie Arena. Fort Knox and the Capitals, 7:30. It's game 2 in the best of 7 Prairie Junior Hockey League final. Fort Knox 5-3 win in game 1. Riverbanks with a hat trick. Also tonight in Moose Jaw, AAA Midget Swift in town. They're up 2-0 in that series after 2-1 wins. Moose Jaw trying to stay alive. They're going to have to do the reverse sweep, 7 p.m. in Moose Jaw. In Kenniston, Saskatchewan, I don't know what that rink holds, but it'll be packed even though it's a Monday night. Kyle's in town. It is game 3 of the decider, Provincial A. Winner goes on to play the Round Lake Bears in the Provincial A final. And then female in Notre Dame, the Hounds host Battleford up 1-0, AAA female. 7:30 puck drop there. Also, Saskatoon is in Swift up 1-0. Quick rundown. If you got anything that we missed in the area, 936-6262, Prairie Land Rentals text line since 1986, 600 Albert Street, and you get to deal with the owners if you need big or small jobs. NHL tonight. Calgary Flame. We talked to Eric Francis earlier.
Wouldn't it be awesome if he sent us a photo of him getting a tattoo already and he's only a half hour into his drinking in New York?
I was just thinking like a little clover leaf, like something small. That'd be real funny though. Calgary and Toronto. Just Dustin Wolf, Dan Vladar, like just try and figure out a way to get these 2 points.
Can they both play net at the same time?
But the problem is like I said, and sorry, Leaf fans, but these are big points for the Leafs too. tied with Tampa Bay in the Atlantic with 81. You got Ottawa, with 77. They're breathing down everyone's neck. It's a great finish again in the NHL. But Calgary, you think they're cooked?
It's too hard. Like, it's funny. Vancouver has underperformed all year. It's all the drama that's caused. They have guys that just haven't lived up to their potential yet. And now they kind of are. Pettersson's scoring. The Flames have squeezed every ounce and every drop out of everything they have just to stick around. And it's been admirable. But like I said, St. Louis has got some guys that can put the puck in the net. Maybe haven't as much. Let's see.
I just don't see this Vancouver, like this big power that Vancouver is. Like, Hughes got to play 45 minutes a game. Brock Besser.
But I'm saying, but here's the thing with the roster. Calgary doesn't have a Luke Hughes. They don't have any of that high-end talent that these other teams have, where it's just kind of hasn't played out yet. They said Utah. I mean, we've got games tonight. Jersey and Columbus, no score in the first. Tampa, Philly, no score in the first. Bruins leading the Sabres 2-1 with 5 minutes to go in the first. Flames, Maple Leafs will face off here in just a couple of minutes, and then the Kings taking on the Minnesota Wild. And yeah, so you've got Utah, Vancouver, and now St. Louis all sniffing around. And Calgary is now, like Eric said, out of that playoff spot. They're now 2 points back, so now they're got to play catch up. And like, it's funny with St. Louis, which was awesome to see Schenner the other day. For 1,000th game, scores 41 seconds in. Can you write that script any better? Like, how awesome is that?
And he got in a fight.
Yeah, of course he did. So you love guys like that. To see them get in the playoffs, because nobody would expect anything. Maybe they do a little damage. House money.
I'm trying
but the other night with St. Louis, Blues fans, they pulled Binnington because Binnington was Binnington again. He got pulled on his third goal after like 19 shots and was losing his mind. And didn't Joel Hofer, didn't he play for the Broncos for Swift Current? I like him. He's got a good record too.
That name doesn't sound familiar.
Joel Hofer? Swift Current?
There's a Hofer that texts in the show once in a while. I think it's James. Oh, it's Hofer. I'm thinking of. I'm trying to get to Cool Bet here, and it's closed right now.
Yeah,
I
Joel
wanted to
Hofer,
put
Swift Current Broncos.
Oh, what year?
2000. He was born. He was drafted in the 2018 draft by the Blues. Came up through the farm.
I'm gonna sprinkle on the underdog Flames tonight if the line's good. But yeah, it's tight. Speaking of tight, Western Hockey League, it's coming down to who's gonna get that second seed in the Eastern Conference. Brandon's holding it right now, 79. They play the Blades, who also have 79 points on Wednesday. Is that game going to be any big? It is, Brandon. If you're in that Moosomin area, Verdon, I know we got some listeners there. Go watch that. Go pay the money.
Who's the 7 seed right now?
Edmonton Oil Kings.
Ooh, that's a bad bus ride. That's a bad bus ride. The 2-7. Ooh,
yeah,
like that's a killer because there's no fast way to get from Brandon to Edmonton.
No, that's a. How many kilometers? Brandon to Edmonton. See, would you go and then do you take the single lane Yellowhead to Saskatoon?
Probably.
That's an
You'd have to.
awful highway.
That's the recommended route by Google, and it's 1,140 kilometers.
Over 1,000
that's a bad
kilometers.
bus ride.
What if you go through Regina?
That's a bad bus ride.
I didn't even think of that.
No, any time. So that was the thing, that any of these matchups to do with Brandon, like if you're that other team, oof. That's a bad bus ride.
That's probably the furthest trip in the Eastern Conference. Like Lethbridge wouldn't be that bad.
Going through Regina. Okay, the first route is taking Highway 16 straight north from Brandon. So that's 11:35 for kilometers. Ugh. Through Regina is 11:40. You're getting like maybe minutes difference.
Oh, you take the double lane all day.
Yeah.
And Lethbridge to Brandon is 990 kilometers.
But at least that's straight Trans-Canada, like all the way.
No, you still have that.
I do get that little dip, but it's mostly Trans-Canada.
Yeah, it's getting Brandon playing Edmonton, maybe the new home of Maddox Schultz. As we know, Edmonton will get ping pong balls. The Regina Pats will get ping pong balls, and the Kelowna Rockets will get ping pong balls.
In this day and age that the player holds all the cards, is there any chance, like, I ain't going to Edmonton, it's Regina or nothing?
Never.
No?
Salt of the earth people, man. We interviewed him here.
I know.
No, he'll go wherever. None of that stuff. Colson's telling us to take a quick one here. It's the Sports Cage on the home of sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
Hey farmers, Canada's Farm Show is here. Are you ready? Come on down and meet Core Green March 18th, 19th, and 20th in booths 11359 and 11386 to chat with our experts about smarter grain storage and handling solutions. Core Green is your trusted partner for grain storage solutions across the prairies, dedicated to offering you the best grain storage and handling systems. We work tirelessly to customize grain monitoring and conditioning systems to fit your specific vineyard plan, now and in the future. Core Grain, doing the right thing for your farm. See you at Canada's Farm Show.
All the equipment and farmland you could need will be up for bid in the Ritchie Brothers 2025 Spring Ag Sales, starting March 19th, featuring over 55 farm auctions across Western Canada. These unique auctions are conducted entirely online, but equipment and property are always available for you to inspect during an in-person visit. Register today and get ready to bid on a variety of assets that include tractors, combines, sprayers, trucks, trailers, farmland, and more. Visit rbauction.com.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. They've got everything you need for your projects. 600 Albert Street. PrairieLandRental.com. Sportscage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com, on our YouTube channel, and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports. 620 CKRM.
It is for Kellen Solar, 35 years of experience moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. Visit kellensolar.com to find out more for your livestock operation. Hey, big news coming up on Friday here on the Sports Cage, right around 3:10, 3:15. They're announcing the Rider Broadcast Network team this year. Dave Thomas is back as the voice of the Riders. He'll be joining me. A couple of changes. That's coming up on Friday. Where did you want to go to? We did dub SJHL for Southie Mainline Kraz, our new king of trucks.
Playoffs start Friday.
Yorkton, Melville. We got it. We got what we wanted. The 4-5, the Highway 10 battle. If you're watching the stream, you see all the matchups there. Then it's going to be Weyburn, the 3 seed, against Battleford, the 6 seed. Not an easy road trip. Flin Flon, the 2 against the number 7 Humboldt Broncos. And then the number 1 team in the league this year, Trevor Blevins, Melfort Mustangs, will take on the number 8 Kindersley Clippers. You're predicting the 6-3 upset.
Yeah, if we had to pick an upset in the first round, because Melville 4-5, if either one wins, is that really an upset?
No.
Battleford's over Weyburn could be a potential first round upset. I mean, if Melfort loses to Kindersley, there'll be a lot of experts that would be really wrong about their pick, because a lot of people are going, "Hey, Kindersley, it's been nice knowing you," and it could be over fast. How long of a bus ride?
Martin Smith coaching Battleford. Smart
I know,
hockey
sneaky.
Man. Smart hockey man.
Maybe they've underperformed this year. Maybe this is Melfort to Saskatoon. How long of a bus ride is that? Is that 3 hours?
Melfort to Saskatoon? Not even 2. Made it plenty of times. Lots.
It's not 2 hours. It's not just 2 hours from Saskatoon
for
to Melfort,
sure.
is it?
Through Waka, people go to the Northern Lights for a swim and then back to Saskatoon in the same day.
And then it's 2 hours to Kindersley.
Hour and 52 minutes. There you go, shooter.
Okay. It's a 4-hour bus ride.
If you're in that If you're in that half ton with just the bench seat that we're taking to Flin Flon, it'd be about 2. It's got a governor on it.
If you've missed the first part of the show, like the first hour, you missed a lot. Fist fighting coworkers, trips in old trucks to Flin Flon. Eric's going to get a tattoo or punchable offenses. That was it.
Hey, Matt, we found something for you.
Yeah, like calling back to some fake news. But here's that touchdown you're talking about with Eric Crouch. Wow.
Okay, we're showing a video of, what's the guy's name?
This is Eric Crouch, not to be confused with Eric Church, the singer.
Look at that turf. That just hurt to fall. Yeah, that was back at old Taylor Field. Bombers, Riders, circa 90. What is that?
This is Argos.
Oh, yeah. Argos, Riders.
Ooh.
What year is
Eddie
this?
Davis just gave up the long ball.
Is it?
2006.
Yep.
On the Altitude
20 years
Network.
ago.
Yeah, just airs it out. He came in for the starting quarterback, got injured, and came in. They were already in the lead, and this helped them keep it.
Toronto Maple Leafs are already up on the Calgary Flames 1-0. What was the Argos quarterback that sacked himself with the ball? Kerwin Bell? Remember that when he just tried to spike the ball in front of that guy in the end zone?
Yeah. And he did himself in. That was bad. That was really bad.
That's one of that. I can watch that highlight and laugh at it every single time. And then that anthem singer that thought he was a pimp cruising in that junior A game, and then he hits the carpet and wipes out. Those two are all timers.
Didn't the Canucks singer, when he was on skates, he bit it when he hit the carpet too, right?
That's the guy. He was doing the major junior game. And he put on skates and he went for a twirl. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was at a Canucks game. I didn't realize that was a junior game. I'm like, hey, that's the Canucks guy wiping out. He just skated over the carpet, and the carpet won. Carpet is undefeated.
Well, maybe I'm glad I didn't get this sprinkle in on Calgary. They're already down 1-0.
Max Domi, 147 in.
Go to Kenaston tonight if you're in the area. Kyle Kenaston, Game 3, Provincial A hockey. If you're down in Notre Dame, they're hosting Battleford AAA Female up 1-0. And then Prairie Junior Hockey League, the Junior B at the Ritchie. Fort Knox Capitals, 7:30. Rachel Holman, 3-1 at the World Women's Curling. Beat Denmark 9-3, taking on USA and Turkey later tonight, early this morning. We're going to wrap the show with Dave Thomas getting ready for the Combine, talking to Daniel Wiebe. He's a receiver from the University of Saskatchewan. His hometown is Saskatoon. Combine's coming up. CNC, good job. Maz, good job. St. Patrick's Day. Go to
Don't forget the sheriff. Good job. Good job, sheriff.
Oh, yeah. Good job,
sheriff. The sheriff.
Love sheriff's already thinking green beer right now.
Beers are on Barney and fist fighting and bail on Barney's
Thomas
wife.
And Daniel Wiebe coming up. Thanks, Kellen Solar. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow.
All the equipment and farmland you could need will be up for bid in the Ritchie Brothers 2025 Spring Ag Sales, starting March 19th, featuring over 55 farm auctions across Western Canada. These unique auctions are conducted entirely online, but equipment and property are always available for you to inspect during an in-person visit. Register today and get ready to bid on a variety of assets that include tractors, combines, sprayers, trucks, trailers, farmland, and more. Visit rbauction.com.
Are you afraid of losing your car or home due to debt? Don't let fear or shame hold you back from seeking help. Bankruptcy is not the only option. A consumer proposal can reduce your monthly payments, lower your overall debt, and allow you to keep your assets. My name is Jasmine Brown. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Regina, and I'm here to help you tackle your debt. Take the first step towards regaining control of your finances. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit BDOdebt.ca to learn more.
Sprayer controls are all set up. You good to go now?
Yup. Is the GPS guidance system set up there too?
Yeah, you're all ready. Get out there.
When you get everything you need from Farmtronics, you know you'll be all set for this spring. With everything from sprayer controls and GPS guidance systems to weather stations and backup cameras, you'll oversee your entire operation with confidence. See Farmtronics, 380 Henderson Drive, or call 1-800-667-8001.
Saskatchewan, it's time to talk sports. Sportscage is on the air. Be part of the show. Call 936-6262 or toll free 1-866-767-0620. And we're always online at sportscage.com. 620 CKRM.
The Canadian Football League Combine is counting down, and we're doing it here on the Rough Rider Broadcast Network. Pleased to be joined by University of Saskatchewan receiver Daniel Wiebe. CFL, Combine, you, all one sentence. It was maybe a run-on, don't judge me on that. But what does it feel to have your name in that sentence?
Yeah, it's been a lifelong goal to be able to get to this just to this point where to potentially have an opportunity to go play pro, and it's been a lot of work. So yeah, it's great to just have this opportunity. I'm really excited, that's for sure.
It is a lot of work to prepare for it. How has the preparation gone?
It's been good. There's been ups and downs. There's been good days, bad days, but it's been good overall, and I'm feeling really ready to go compete.
With the numbers that you have put up in your collegiate career, let alone your high school numbers, with the numbers you put up, your preparation obviously is very apparent and very evident. Have you changed that preparation, though, at all in advance of this event?
I think I've been working on different ways to prepare throughout just my football career, and I've found ways that help and found ways that don't help as much. And I think I've just really been trying to lean into my mental kind of strength and going through that a lot. I think that's changed throughout the years. So I think really incorporating that, and then still training at Ignite. So that's been super helpful. Training with Dale, running some track as well, just in the city. So yeah, there's lots doing yoga too. So I think there's lots of kind of aspects of training I've been incorporating, and I think they're helping a lot too.
So even though this is an individual test, for lack of a better term, there's still an opportunity in which you can draw inspiration, motivation, or guidance from your teammates in being the ultimate team sport. Have you done that?
Yeah, for sure. Previous Huskies who are now in the CFL, I've been talking to a lot, just kind of seeing, what playing pro is really like and what the combine's like, and even just in preparation for the combine with my teammates, as Seth and Lane are going, we've been a really tight-knit group and just kind of going off each other, really motivating each other to be great during those lifts and runs. And even just those lifts and runs with my teammates, always just being there with them makes training a lot easier, so it's definitely huge. It's it's an individual thing at the combine, but it's also you got all the support of your boys, so it's all those guys you played football with the past few years, even years before that. It's a huge support, so that helps a lot.
Any advice that you've received that, okay, this is something I got to remember?
I would definitely say, it's just football at the end of the day. As much as there's all these kind of minute details and stuff, just believe in yourself and go out and play, and, just understand, you got the ability, just go show it.
Do you have goals that you've set for the combine and maybe the numbers or the way that you want to perform? Is that entered your mindset at all?
Yeah, I would say there's definitely goals, and I think I try not to get too wrapped up in all those, though. At the same time, I think there's a balance between what you want to run and what you do, and I don't want to limit myself either. So I think for now, I'm just gonna go out there and do my best on that day, and whatever comes of that.
When you look back to joining the Saskatchewan Huskies, that first season you were named the most outstanding freshman. If you look all the way back then, does that seem like a long time ago or no?
It doesn't. Looking back, realizing I'm done my fourth year, it's kind of crazy. Everyone, when I came in, all the vets would say it goes by fast, and it really does. So yeah, it feels like it's went by very fast.
11 games played last year, 923 receiving yards, which is outstanding in the condensed schedule that you play. How do you translate that into a good showing at the combine?
Yeah, I think it's just really believing in myself, and trusting that, trusting in my abilities too, and just really going out there and not overthinking too much, just going and playing.
All right, so you've talked about having some goals when it comes to, how you're going to perform, and most that we've been talking about have been physical and on the field. Have you done preparation for the interview process that will happen on Friday at Mosaic Stadium?
Yeah, definitely. That's a huge part of it too, and there's been good preparation in that. I've been asking, like I said, I've got some of those CFL buddies who've went through the process too, and just kind of getting little insights of what that might look like. And yeah, that's a huge part of it. So for sure.
Is this like the ultimate job interview, trying to then obtain a professional football job?
I would say yes. It seems like just a massive, big, few-day job interview. That's kind of how it seems. Whether it's physical, mental, you got in-person interviews, you got testing. There's everything. There's a big range, but yeah, I would say big job interview right now.
And how are the emotions? Nerves, anxious, want to get it over with?
I think I'm feeling excited, definitely excited. There's obviously some nerves in there too, but I'm really just trying to be in the moment. I think that's a lot easier said than done, but I'm just trying to let today be today, and then once the combine comes, just be in the moment. Don't overthink it. Just kind of be there and have fun, have a good time.
So while you're in that moment, can you enjoy it?
Yeah, I think that's the goal, right? Like, I think playing football for me is an enjoyable thing to do. And when I'm enjoying it, I'm at my best. So yeah, that's definitely the goal. Just be in the moment and have some fun.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a heck of a fun time and intense over the next few days. Daniel, we appreciate you taking some time for us and doing this, and wish you all the best.
Thank you very much for having me.
This is 620 CKRM Regina, the voice of Saskatchewan, a Harvard media station. Streaming everywhere at 620CKRM.com.
It's 6 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News. Saskatchewan's opposition NDP says it'll pressure Premier Scott Moe's government to put Canada first as politicians return for the spring legislative sitting during a turbulent trade war with the U.S. NDP leader Carla Beck says her party plans to introduce an emergency motion this week that calls on legislators to condemn U.S. President Donald Trump for proposing to annex Canada.